Hello everyone, and welcome to another Tinfoil Tuesday. I hope you're ready for some bingo, because today we're going to be looking at a ton of different stuff. We're going to try and find some QAnon nonsense, or Qanonsense if you'd like to breathe it. Or is that a portmanteau? That's not an abbreviation, it's more of a portmanteau. We're going to also do... I tried to look for Kamala Harris conspiracies, because, if you didn't hear, she was just picked to be Joe Biden's vice president. But most of them are, like, racist, and that's not fun, so we're not gonna watch those. I have someone who's looking at Bigfoot, we have Owen Benjamin again, we have, again, like I said, QAnon stuff, we have a little bit of Flat Earth, we have something about Instagram pedophile networks. We have the Fullerton Informer, I think, talking about how he calls the coronavirus the Bolshevik virus, so I think he thinks communism is involved in some way. And then maybe some Jan Shamanic, who does, like, alt health stuff. So how you doing? Exclamation mark bingo, and then Streamlabs will pop it up for you. So... I did not see the Alex Jones clip where he yells at people in a public park. That's funny, though. So I hope you're all doing well. How do you make tin hat? There are YouTube tutorials. This one happens to be one I bought. This is like from a store. This is from Amazon. This one actually isn't. It's a little bit of cheating. It's not really tinfoil. It's like that space blanket material, basically. It's just shiny, so. Specifically because I didn't want to be making new tinfoil hats every week. And of course, if we get into hype trains, for every level of the hype train, we will add more tinfoil to my tinfoil armor. Look at this cute dress, though. Dinosaurs! It has been a long day. Have been waiting yesterday's Chud Watch watching yesterday's Chud Watch all morning, and to stop and watch Tinfoil live. Well, great. I'm glad you're enjoying my past streams in their archive, which is on YouTube, if you want to check it out. Let me put that in the chat. Check out my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I'm sure most of you have, but nonetheless. Thank you, Bailey, for getting the YouTube command. You did. You beat me to it. So, I don't know. I guess without further ado, let's start with the conspiracies. I don't know. Let me switch over to... I gotta turn this music off. What do you guys think we should start with first? We have Jan Shamanic, we have the Fullerton Informer, Conspiracy Castle, Nathan Thompson, Globebusters, QAnon stuff, which I'll just pick randomly from, Owen Benjamin, who doesn't believe in dinosaurs and stuff, and then Bigfoot guy, and then I also have this alien abduction video where someone talks about their family secretly being alien hybrids because they were abducted. Nathan Thompson, we have one vote for Nathan Thompson. Alien abduction and QAnon, alien. 2 for Alien. Alien's winning. Dino. Okay. Alien's still winning. Aliens. Aliens is still ahead. In 10 seconds, I'm going to decide 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Aliens wins. And remember, mark off your Tinfoil Tuesday bingo card, and if you win, you will get a subscription. If you already have one and I can't gift one to you currently, I'll write your name down, and then when it comes due, just let me know, and we'll, let me see if I can get my hair to dry reasonably while wearing a tinfoil hat. Okay, so we have Alien Abductions and Alien Families by Jane Osborne.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Arenas 3 with 100 bits. Sorry I haven't been here live to throw bits at you. VODs have been great, though. Love the dress and the kitty. Well, welcome. Thanks for coming to the stream. Oh, God. She needs to speak louder.
Do they have any buckles on? It's fine.
No. Zip.
They've got a zip on.
She's so quiet. We're gonna have to find another one because I can't hear her. Apparently she knows all about alien abductions, but nothing about volume levels in your videos. How about this one? This is 11 minutes. This says, a possible alien abduction and 2 flybys.
What is going on, guys, and welcome back once again to Terry's Theories. I am Terry. Alright, guys, hope everybody's doing good. Man, I can't complain. Everything is going okay. I've got a couple of videos for you guys today. I want to start off in Yakima, Washington on November the 30th, 2018. Now, we've got a lady by the name of Lori Simmons. Now, she's having a video chat with one of her friends, and she has an unexpected visitor in the background. Now, you can see it popping up behind her as she's walking. I want you to take a look at that. And to me, it looks like it could be an alien gray, but could it be fake as well? I mean, I guess it could.
Yes.
Be. But take a look at this. Tell me what you think. Is somebody trying to pull a fast one, or does this lady actually have an unexpected visitor?
Aliens.
I don't know. You be the judge, and you tell me what you think we've got going on here. All right, check this out.
I'm gonna go and look for another bed today. Like maybe a day bed or something. I mean, I have that credit card. I'm not gonna buy anything expensive. I'll try like Salvation Army first and see what I can find.
You can't buy a bed at Salvation Army. You can't resell mattresses. Or at least you're not supposed to. That's how bed bugs spread. Hannah, what do you think of the movie Hedwig and the Angry Inch? I've never seen it. The Pseudo-Sapien, thanks for hosting.
You know? But I definitely need a smaller bed. And one that's up off the floor. Because it's killing me. And then I'm just going to let Al have this one because I just want it out of here. And he's sleeping on a blow-up mattress anyway.
What happens if I get a bingo before anyone else? That's a good question. The selfish part of me wants to say then I win and no one has to get a free subscription, but I'm just playing for fun. If I get it first, it doesn't really count. Someone else can get it first.
I'm trying to
ban all of us, then yeah, if I win, then the stream ends forever and I'll be released from this prison that is my life as a streamer.
make coffee.
Oh, maybe gift sub randomly? Yeah, that's fun. Let's do that. If I win bingo, then the sub gets gifted randomly.
I went and bought decaf coffee. It's not really doing me any good. But I've been having anxiety, and I think it's from the coffee, you know, because I made it like really super strong the other day at work. Oh, I like literally had an anxiety attack from it, so.
Jesus Christ, how strong is the coffee you're making?
What are you doing today?
There's nothing funny
Is there
about
somebody
the
in your
tools of
house with you?
Thanks for
No,
the
why?
30 bits, Sushi Mom.
Why?
All right, so what is your take on this? Are we trying to be fooled? Is this fake? Is this, prop? Now you can see that this thing moves throughout the apartment.
Wait, let's go
Your
back
take
and
on
look.
this?
Why?
All right, so what is your take on this? Are we trying to be fooled? Is this fake? Is this?
This could be about 1,000,001 things. God, we got to go back and see it in like the original. Where is it?
I went.
I see it.
Mattress
Okay.
Anyway, right?
It's like over here. Okay. So we see a figure, what appears to be a figure, I should say, behind her in her apartment.
Tools of capitalism.
Cats are neat too, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits. Thank you very much.
I went and bought decaf coffee. It's not really doing me any good. But I've been having anxiety, and I think it's from the coffee, because I made it like really.
Okay, so one of two things is going on. A, it's a chair or something that just looks weird in this shaky, like, 140p video. 2, this is a fake video. They have someone in a literal alien costume in the background. They're trying to make a viral video. Those are basically the two options. I was gonna say, or it's a real alien, but no, it's not a real alien.
Super strong the other day at work.
Or a statue. There's an option. It could just be an alien statue.
I literally had an anxiety attack from it, so. But anyways, come on in. What are you doing today?
Is there somebody in your house with you?
No, why? Why?
Oh, it's fake. That's a fake. What? Why would they be recording a conversation between the two of them? Is this like... Is Snapchat or Instagram a thing where you can, like, post video messages back and forth as responses? Because I don't know, because I don't use those. Is this like a format? Also, yes, bad acting. Very bad acting.
All right, so what is your take on this? Are we trying to be fooled? Is this fake? Is this, prop? Now you can see that this thing moves throughout the apartment.
It looks like someone... It looks like someone in a Party City alien costume. It looks like one of those spandex, like, gray suits and then a big bad alien mask. Like, I can smell the silicone from here.
As she moves, it's in different spots, kind of peering over the shoulder. Could it be a kid in costume?
Yes. It's that one. It's that one.
Or do we, or is it the real thing? The head looks big, the body looks gray.
I mean, masks will do that. If the mask is bigger than your head, which it has to be in order to fit over it, that's how masks work.
Got the almond-shaped eyes. Does it look disproportionate to you? I mean, it kind of does to me. I mean, I guess it could be a child or a small person in costume, but I did notice...
Captain Seculoid, thanks for continuing your subscription. It's okay now, I'm here. Well, I'm glad you're here.
On a couple of these shots that it's translucent. You can see through it, especially when it's standing in the doorway. So, I really don't know. Has anybody heard anything on this around 2018? Because it totally got past me. I didn't notice it. And,
Jam Rockstar, thanks
there's a
for the
shot
100
coming
bits.
up here in just a minute. Right there in the doorway. See, you can kind of see through it. You can see right over her shoulder.
Wait, what? You can see
right
through
there in the
it?
doorway. See, there's a shot coming up here in just a minute. Right there in the doorway. See, you can kind of see through it.
It's a mess
Up
of
here in just a
pixels. You
minute.
can't decipher what anything is. What?
Right there in the doorway.
It just looks like it's getting blown out by the light. It doesn't look translucent, whatever we're even looking at.
See, you can kind of see through it. You can see right over her shoulder. And here is another view of it right there. I mean, you can kind of see the door frame through its silhouette. And right there as well. So, kind of on the fence on that.
It's clearly a child in a costume.
Did anybody hear anything about this being fake? I tried to look for.
Jesus Christ. Let's look at the comments real quick. Here's an article written about the incident. Oh, God. This is fake. It's a kid. God, why do I typo so bad? You know why I typo so bad? Because I don't use the proper home key technique or whatever. I just type all over the place. My hands just go wherever and they hit buttons.
Her Facebook account, and is non-existent, but it was all over Google, you know, her story, and it didn't say anything about it being fake.
Okay, that doesn't mean it's real. That's not how this works. You don't get to be like, well, no one said it's fake, even though it's clearly fake, so it must be real.
So I guess I'll call on you. You tell me what you believe on this one. Can you imagine having something like that in your apartment as you're talking?
I know, having a child in my apartment or house sounds awful, so no thank you.
On the phone? And then her girlfriend said, do you have somebody in your apartment? And she's like, no. I guess that would kind of... See right there, it's kind of translucent.
No, that's the light. That's not how cameras work. Do I have that on my thing? Hold on. That's not how science works. I don't have it. If you have that's not how cameras work, I'm gonna say that counts.
Could we be looking at a ghost?
Wait, now it's a ghost? I thought it was an alien. Is it an alien ghost? An alien came down to abduct someone, but they were killed by the men in black, and their ghost haunts the apartment to this day.
Or are we looking at a kid in costume, and we're just having issues with the lighting that maybe makes it look translucent? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. So definitely interesting, and I thought it was worth sharing with you guys. Now, if it is fake, and if it was proven fake, hey, so be it. I apologize. I didn't find anything about it being
But, like, can't you look at it and understand that it's fake by, A, the bad acting, and B, the fact that it looks like a child in a suit, and C, because fucking aliens have not come to Earth, and they're certainly not hanging out in Cheryl's apartment. Like, what? Aliens come to Earth. They can go anywhere. They can teleport themselves inside of buildings, apparently, because this one just showed up in this person's apartment. They can go into any federal building. They can go into Jeff Bezos' mansion and look around, and they're like, you know that bitch who's looking for a mattress? She doesn't even have a box spring? Yeah, let's check out her apartment. What?
fake. Now, on YouTube, there were a couple of negative comments on this, but I don't know. It got my attention, and I thought it was worth sharing with you guys. So leave me a comment. Let's talk about it. Alright guys, so instead of one, I've got two more videos for you. This next video takes place in Janesville, Wisconsin. It was recorded on August the 6th of this year, 2020. And what I believe that we have is a wedged-shaped craft of some sort. Now, the witness stated when they saw this, at the moment they saw it, 2 aircraft flew underneath it, and this object stopped, hovered, disappeared, reappeared, and then proceeded to move forward. Now, that's what the witness statement said. Now, this is a MUFON case, and it's case number 110801. So take a look at this and give me your opinion on what you believe that this object could be. Alright guys, check this out. Here we go.
kind of looks like a bird to me. It looks like a bird. Just a high up bird. Like, you can see it, like, the thing every once in a while, it looks like it's flapping. It looks like a fucking bird. That's a bird! It's a bird. It's a bird. It has hollow bones. It has wings. They flap them to produce thrust. It's a bird. It's a bird. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Superman! Oh, fuck, no, wait, it's a bird.
Alright guys, so give me your opinion on what you believe that this could be. I'm interested to know. And it appears a little like it's either reflecting or it has lights on it. I'm not sure.
No!
You tell me what you think. Alright, so we're down to our last video, and this takes place in Stafford, Virginia. Stafford?
The way, you know, this is a fun pop cultural bit, too. You know, you normally see, look up in the sky, and they're like, it's a bird! It's a plane! No, it's Superman! That's not the inflection it's supposed to have. It's supposed to be, look up in the sky! Oh, it's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's super. The first two are supposed to be dismissive. They're not excited to see a bird in a plane. It's kind of a weird pop cultural thing that kind of got bastardized over time.
Stafford, Virginia. I think I said that right. Alright, so it takes place in Stafford, Virginia. And on August the 3rd of this year, 2020, it is a MUFON case. It's MUFON case number 110691. And what we've got are a mother and daughter, and they are recording a thunderstorm, or a lightning storm, or are getting ready to have a thunderstorm. And in recording, they catch what looked like to me to be two meteorites trailing each other. Now they called it a weather drone, and I don't think that's what we're dealing with here, what we're seeing.
Wait, are we already supposed to be seeing something?
After the video, it's a quick video, and after the video, I've got a segment where we zoomed in on it. And tell me what you think.
Okay, so this is a video my daughter and I were taking of this storm that's rolling in when my daughter caught something from coming across the sky. We don't know what it is. We're thinking like maybe a weather drone. Bear with us because her phone is a lot better than my phone, and apparently it's not coming through on video, so I'm going to try to record this with my actual camera. Anyway, here we go.
It looks like a big, like, sand, like, storm.
So here's where it enters. The two dots are right here, which is hard to see.
Point to it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mommy, it's moving fast. I'm catching it on my camera, too.
Where did it go?
I know, I lost it.
Where'd it go?
Right here.
What is that?
And then
Let's take a look at what weather drones look like. Doon, 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 doon. Oh yeah, it could absolutely be a fucking drone. That seems more reasonable to me than it being a outer space UFO. When I say UFO, obviously it literally means unidentified flying object, but when I'm saying it here, I mean alien spacecraft.
and it went behind the trees.
It's probably a weather drone.
And then she-
There's
If
like
that's
something
what
up
they
there,
say
like a
it
weather
is,
drone.
that's what it is.
Right.
I know, I need to find it. Here it is.
Hold on, my camera's.
I did see it. Yeah, you can see them. They're right here. And they look like they're moving fast because they're actually relatively close to you. They're under the clouds, right? They're not that far away from you. They're just really, really tiny. They're drones.
Okay, now it's okay. Yeah, put it right there. That's good.
What? Oh, this is like a jet. I think I caught it.
So yeah, that's what my daughter and I saw. And excuse our goofy voices.
Or a
we
normal
were
drone
just
from a
recording for
random
our
person,
family
yeah.
And didn't expect to.
Some sort of
catch anything like
drone.
that. Anyway, thank you.
Alright guys, what do you think? I'm thinking meteorite. That's my opinion. What is your opinion? Tell me what you believe. we
Not
got
a
going on
meteor.
here. Well guys, I guess I'm going to start wrapping up the video. But before we go, I'm going to play you guys like
Terry's Theories. Hoo boy. Okay. Maybe we'll come back to him later. Corky's research. Spot scope caught Bigfoot over 200 to 250 yards away.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Tuesday reminder, no linking links to vids unless it's a cleanse. Save it for the end of the stream or the rest of the week, not Tuesday, yeah. Because then people can cheat on bingo. Okay, so... Oh, are they saying this thing right here is Bigfoot? No. No, it's not. Is this a whole 5-minute video of just this still image? Conclusive proof. Like, hey, guy. No. I like, you know what I do like, though? I like the confidence. I like that he's like, spot scope caught Bigfoot over 200 to 250 yards away. Throw this up for 5 minutes and 40 seconds. This speaks for itself. No, it doesn't. I'm not even positive where you're claiming the Bigfoot is. Is it here? Is it this thing? Is it here? Is it down here? I don't know. It's just foliage. That's not Bigfoot. Trees aren't hominids. Because you find a different Bigfoot. Bigfoot spotted in Pagosa Springs.
Hey folks, Lee Wilbarger here with you from KLW World News. There is a report that Bigfoot has been spotted in...
Bigfoot hunt. Upload date, upload date.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Random invite with 20 bits. Wait, Hannah, you've done it. You've cracked the code. Bigfoot was trees all along. We've been looking for the wrong thing. Yep. True. Hunting Bigfoot with torches. Ooh, this seems dangerous. I mean, they're not my kids. Just, you know, I'd be concerned about the forest. Holy shit. Oh no! I would not trust kids this young to go into the woods with sticks this covered in fire. This is how you start wildfires, folks.
Bigfoot hunt with torches in the dark.
There's nothing funny about the tools
Let's
of
go.
capitalism.
We found Bigfoot tracks back here on our property, and we thought we'd hunt him at night.
Jesus fucking Christ.
See if we can find him.
Please don't go into an area with a bunch of, like, leaves and trees. I hope it's not dry out. This is the kind of dumb shit that starts, like, the California wildfires and shit.
Right?
Oh my god! Oh no, and look, they're dropping, like, fire all over the fucking place! This is the fucking most dangerous shit ever! Oh god. Dude. Your kids are gonna light the forest on fire. What the fuck?
Alright, guys. Does somebody want to give the call? See if we can bring him out?
Wait, we forgot to bring the bait.
That's okay. William, you want to give the call? Hold your line.
That's really, really stupid. Like, I'm all for, I get it. Go out in the forest with your kids and have a good time. Maybe flashlights. Flashlights or lanterns. Maybe not giant burning sticks. Jeez.
What's going on, guys? It's your
Oh
boy
god. No thank you. What's going on, guys? It's your girl, Hannah.
Hey guys, just want to let you know what's going on. I'm down here with Bobby. He's right here behind me right now. We got our blinds set up. this is where we're going to be at tonight. Kevin and his brother John.
I feel like Bigfoot, if Bigfoot existed, would not be tricked by, like, an obvious hunting blind. They're a hominid. They'd be very intelligent. Like, they'd see that and be like, what the fuck is that? I'm staying away from that. They're not like a deer, right?
Are way back up there, but we got radio so we can communicate with each other, which is a good thing. It's always good to have somebody listening for you while you're listening for them. This is where we're going to be at tonight. Just show you around a little bit. Got a trail camera right over there, so I'm trying to stay out of view of that.
Can we get a sequel to Brokeback Mountain where it's a couple dudes Bigfoot hunting and a romance blossoms?
Oh.
And then at the end, much like Brokeback Mountain, spoilers for a movie that's over like 15 years old. In Brokeback Mountain, at the end, one of them dies. I'd like to see that. And then in the Bigfoot hunting movie, one of them dies, and then the other one returns to the woods, to the spot they always camped at, to remember them. And in the final moments of the film, he looks into the distance in the woods, and he sees Bigfoot. And that's how the movie ends.
Hey guys, how y'all doing today?
Yeah, hey guys. Just want
And in the movie, at some point, they'll say, you know what they say about big feet.
let you know that we've been down here maybe 30 minutes now. Once we got down here, Kevin and John was hearing something back up that way walking. They said whatever it was, it sounded big while it was walking, all right? Also, right back off in that direction down there, when we was down here, we was standing here, we hadn't even started doing anything yet. We heard, well, the only way I can describe it is like that monkey sound again. It was kind of like a whoo, whoo, whoo. It was right back off in that direction, okay? Also, right back off in there, we heard something walking, moving around, right? But just want to let you know that this is where we're going to be at tonight. We're going to be down here all night long, and I can tell you right now, this is a creepy area. It's already got a creepy vibe to it, so which is a good thing. This is what I like.
You hear that?
Yeah, I hear it. We got something back off in there. But anyway, this is where we're going to be at tonight. This is our area. We're set up. We're ready to go, and hopefully we have some action tonight, guys, because I believe we're in a really good area. We're in a really, really good area.
I do wonder if Bigfoot existed, if the Sasquatch existed as a real animal. I don't think it does, but let's pretend for a second it does. What the fuck do they think about humans? Like, enough of them, I'd imagine, as hominids, they're probably at least semi-social creatures, you know? They probably would live in, like, I don't know if packs would be the right term, but they'd live in, like, family groups at minimum, most likely. Apes, you know, live in little communities, so it would make sense for a hominid that would even probably be more closely related to humans would do the same as humans do. You'd think they'd have, like, legends about these weird, pink, hairless, like, creatures that come into the woods. Troops, that would be the word, like a troop of chimps.
Oh, really? So the sound echoed, and it made it sound like it was to the right of y'all, be to my left. Okay.
Okay, I'm not having much luck with the Bigfoot videos today. That's unfortunate.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Dude spanking dudes. Maybe someone long time ago saw a gorilla, didn't know what the fuck it was. Rumors and legends started. Some fuckwit started to think it was something else. The telephone game effect, and it culminated in this. Maybe. Interestingly, I heard about this a while back, but you can look at the first time humans came in contact with, like, gorillas. And this group, it was the first time they'd ever seen, you know, like, any sort of, you know, ape. And it was amazing how they described these apes. They described them as a group of people, basically. They thought it was like a tribe of primitive people. And they talked about, like, trying to take one home with them because, of course, you know, Europeans like to steal people from their homes. And it was just really, really interesting how they described these, like, gorillas like they were a group of people. It was so interesting. Here's a QAnon video that says, Donald Trump hiding, QAnon, Trump underground.
What's going on, YouTube? It's Justin from the YouTube channel Old School Saints, coming to you live from the past. I just wanted to hop on here and throw my hat into the ring, as it were, on the Trump running from the rich enemies that he has.
I can understand filming in your car. I understand that it can be a relatively quiet environment that you can control easily. And you can film things with your, like, camera phone and it'll turn out okay. What I don't understand is thinking, I'm gonna film this video in my car with the window open. Oh shit, this guy's not wearing a seatbelt either on the highway. What a dumb fuck. What the fuck? The QAnon stuff is bad enough already, but he's, like, not wearing a goddamn seatbelt. What the hell? That bothers me way more than the QAnon thing for some reason. Like, Jesus. You crash your car, you're gonna become a projectile and hit someone else and kill them.
First of all, I think a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world today...
He's driving a car with no seatbelt while filming a YouTube video. And he's not even filming it well because his window's down.
Is political theater. I think it is the WWE...
That'd be a good Darwin Award, though, wouldn't it? Died while filming a QAnon video while not wearing a seatbelt. That kind of encapsulates 2020, I think. Dumb, weird, conspiratorial, right-wing QAnon believers dying preventably by not wearing a safety device that everyone understands is necessary, right? MMO addicted with 100 bits. I mean, to this day, people who live in more remote areas and do not have access to technology can make that mistake my grandmother did when she first saw a gorilla from afar at the zoo. That's very odd.
Or as some of us remember it, the WWF, before World Wildlife
Foundation.
Kind of screwed that up for us. It's not been the same since it was WWF. So anyway, it's called the WWE. It's where professional wrestlers, they fight each other in a ring, in front of an audience, and then afterwards they go out and they have drinks and they, they hang out, they work out together, this sort of stuff. So that's kind of a metaphor for what I believe our politics are these days. I do believe that there are two competing factions fighting for power inside Washington, but I believe it's almost game to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe the hate is genuine. Maybe it is. I don't know. But the point being is, I believe this whole Trump, I have to go in hiding thing, I believe it's political theater. And then, like, first of all...
August 11th. This is today. When was Trump going into hiding today?
If Trump were to be going in hiding, like, would he be dumb enough to tell everyone, like, you may not see me for a while, I may be going in hiding? Or would...
If your question ever starts with, is Donald Trump dumb enough to? The answer is always yes.
Would that be something they would want to keep sealed? So,
oh, there was a shooting at the White House, so we probably went into the bunker thing for safety reasons.
As to not tip off these pissed off rich people that have pretty much every resource at the tip of their fingertips. I'm just throwing it out there.
The Secret Service shot someone outside the White House. What the fuck? Why? What were they doing?
Political theater, okay? And then you've got this cob job of like Trump at the White House. Well, first of all, now they're building unscalable walls at the White House, like out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden they feel like we need those now.
I mean, hey, just to be clear, I've been to the White House, not like inside, but outside in the public area. When I went to Washington, D.C., the fences are already not something you want to scale. There are snipers and shit on the roof of the White House. If you try and scale the fence of the White House, you're gonna have a real bad time, so...
And then you've got the whole situation that...
Oh, suicide by cop. Yeah, I've heard that shit happens in front of the White House relatively often. How am I doing? Pretty good. Pretty good. There's a bingo category which covers Pizzagate. Yeah. Combat tech support. The person ran up to the Secret Service and told them he had a gun, and then ran back and gestured like they were pulling out a firearm. That's what I heard. Yeah. Suicide by cop.
That happened where the Secret Service agent came up on stage while Trump was talking recently, and, you know, was kind of like, hey, Mr. President, you figure if it was like a real...
Thanks for hosting, Deep Southern Man.
...threat, he would have run up there, not kind of dipped his toes into the water to make sure it was okay. He probably would have ran up there, grabbed the president, and ran off. You know, it would have been that simple. He wouldn't have ever so delicately tried to caress the president off stage. You know what I mean? So, all of these things are very timely. Why do I say that? Well, you know, the Q crowd out there, and you know, I've discussed Q before. I believe Q is a psyop. I believe...
Oh, so he's a different kind of conspiracy theorist who believes that QAnon is a psyop. I don't entirely disagree in the sense that it wouldn't surprise me if, again, we know because intelligence agencies have come out and said Russia is trying to, like, push people into really extreme positions on the internet, so it wouldn't surprise me if at least partially some of the QAnon stuff has come out of these same, like, Russian disinformation, you know, campaigns. I get that, but, like... I don't know, calling it a psyop is a little weird.
Q is a psychological operation that drops truth bombs, but it also feeds the hoax New World Order agenda. And the New World Order agenda I'm talking about is the one that we all think is coming. The cabal of elitists that are going to run the world and put everyone in concentration camps.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, friendo, but a cabal of select individuals already controls the world. They're called billionaires. And they're not hiding it. I hate to tell ya. I know. It's sad.
I believe that QAnon is a psyop, but the Q crowd right now are probably just like on fire. Like, see? I told you Q was real! Oh gosh, man. It couldn't be. It couldn't... Because that's how they're acting, man. They're like, look at all these pedophile rings going down. Okay, cool. Look at all the disinfo Q puts out, okay? 100 truths, okay?
This guy needs to put a fucking seatbelt on. I need to find a true believer. Infowars versus QAnon. Oh, God.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together for the one, the only Infowars, starring Alex Jones and Owen Schroyer.
Q. Because I said I talked to Q. You know, I had the founder of Q at my house about 2 years ago, and I really should have hired him. Oh, this QAnon, this is a good thing. You know, this is people inside the U.S. intelligence. And then this morning, I was talking to one of those guys, not Zach, but another person, while they were playing golf. They're like, yeah, no, we were involved in that earlier, just putting down our comments on what's going on, but we haven't been in control of this for months.
Now, if Trump didn't know about Q or had nothing to do with it, folks, he would have outright denied it right there.
And the light bulb went, boop, Q. And I just sat here Sunday right before I went on air, and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Because people have already been brainwashed by it, and they'll think I'm calling them an idiot.
Alex Jones is Q. Alex Jones has always been Q. Alex Jones will always be Q.
We have Q, and it says you're a traitor. Prove who you are, Q. But the Q stuff is just force-fed and it attacks me constantly. I give them till next Tuesday to come out with it all, or I'm going to expose it next Wednesday.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? Still haven't got a phone. Hey, look, thanks to my mate Phil, I won't mention your last name, because, you know, I'm a wanted man in New Zealand, boy. Anyway,
Wait, you're what now? You're wanted in New Zealand? Why are you posting videos on the internet?
Me get up to Auckland, he gave me a massive donation that's helped me go to Auckland. I left today to go to the US Embassy and grab my US passport. And look, some really big things are going on with the whole Q thing, Trump thing, and the biblical aspect of it all. And, you know, Dylan Wheeler, educating liberals, and I've been following all that really closely. The whole time I got involved with Q, I absolutely was not skeptical, but I was wary, you know, looking at the other side of the argument the whole time. And Dylan Wheeler, educating liberals, he did a really good job of bringing out all of his concerns about QAnon from a biblical aspect as a Christian in a video. How he went about it is, to be honest with you, he should have been debating, like, because obviously he had thoughts in the back of his mind the whole time about being a bit skeptical, but he was avoiding those as he was going along making his videos and getting his big following and that. And then what he did was he let it all erupt in one video and just quit the whole thing. I think he'll be back, mark my words, because I've flip-flopped quite a few times on the whole thing to an extent. I was pointing fingers at myself from the very start, actually. I notice everyone's pointing fingers at everyone else, but actually it's really about looking deep within yourself and figuring out your own sins.
Oh my god, it's all just rambling. Let me see, let me try one more time to try and find a good QAnon video. Good, you know what I mean. Entertaining. And then we're gonna move on to something else. I'm not having luck with finding good videos today.
Hi, in this video about the tools of capitalism.
BitChute time? No, I'm gonna try and limit BitChute just because a lot of the stuff on BitChute, like YouTube, it's on BitChute because YouTube doesn't want it on YouTube, and I don't want to get my channel striked for like putting a BitChute thing on.
Video, I wanted to get deeper into QAnon and reveal some of the really big picture that's coming together from these now thousands of Q posts that have been coming in since the end of 2017. And outline what appears to be an incredibly high-level military intelligence operation to not only covertly purge some extreme corruption out of our country and the world, but also to accelerate the process of disclosing some extraordinary information to the public.
Oh my god, why do these people believe this bullshit? It's just shit posts on 4chan and 8chan and whatever chan they move to now. It's not any sort of evidenced claim. It's just a thing someone said in a green text on B. Like, what the fuck?
I also want to get into some of the misinformation that's being spread about Q that I think is designed to really make people dismiss it before even looking into it. So if you've made it this far, you are way ahead of most people. One of the most common deceptions that I see about Q is that it is a right-wing conspiracy.
It is. It literally is. It's a conspiracy to try and explain away why Donald Trump behaves like a buffoon. And I hate to tell ya, it's not because he's conducting a psyop to try and confuse his enemies into thinking he's an idiot. It's 'cause he's an idiot. Like, it's pretty simple. I really don't get this want, and I understand these people are, like, hate liberals, and so they can't admit to themselves that they voted for an absolute ridiculous idiot. But, like, that's reality. It's what you did. Sorry, I understand you don't like Hillary Clinton. I don't really either, but she was a competent politician, and you elected a fucking clown. So, this is what happens. Elect a clown, get a circus. Welcome to 2020. It's not a conspiracy. Trump's not sending you secret messages via his Kafifi tweets or whatever. He's just dumb. He's just dumb. It's pretty simple.
That is not true. This is not about the simple right versus left paradigm. It actually transcends parties. And Q actually explicitly states that. And really kind of shows us that the two-party system is more of an illusion.
The idea that both sides are the same is a right-wing smear technique to try and make people think that the left and the right are identical, when even when I have criticisms of people on the left, like Kamala Harris just got, appointed to be Biden's VP. Don't like Biden, don't like Kamala Harris, but at the end of the day, they're competent politicians. I disagree with them, and hey, if Biden wins, bully the fuck out of him to change his positions on things. But between him and Trump, Biden is a million times better, period. This whole equivocation of like, oh, both sides, it's both sides. It's literally because people on the right understand that they can't defend their own actions, so they try and demonize the other side and bring them down to their level in terms of public perception.
Q centers around the idea of what many call the deep state, or, this...
Was Kafifi subject to conspiracy nonsense? It was. They thought it was a secret code to them.
Unelected, true power behind the places that we've been trained to look. Think bought-off politicians, controlled by behemoth corporations, predatory bank heads, rogue intelligence and agency factions, off-book secret black projects, etc., etc. The idea is basically about this super elite, insanely powerful groups of people who are covertly pulling the strings around the world.
They're called billionaires. It's not a conspiracy. It's just how it works. People have amassed huge fortunes, and independently, without working together in a cabal, they have decided that their best interests are served by changing the laws and paying for politicians to advocate for policies that let them keep as much money as possible, despite the fact that them having so much money is bad for the economy and bad for workers. It's not necessarily a conspiracy just because it's a bad thing a lot of people are doing. People can act independently in similar ways because their interests are aligned without it being a conspiracy. So this elite group of people who are bad are billionaires, but it doesn't mean they're this Bilderberg Illuminati group that's meeting in secret to talk about how they're gonna fuck people over. I imagine a lot of them don't see themselves that way. People who are bad and who hurt people usually don't see themselves as such. People make excuses for themselves. So like Jeff Bezos, even though he's a huge piece of shit, with billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, and he has more money than any human being could conceivably care to spend, and unlimited power, based on, his investment in Amazon, one of the largest companies in the history of planet Earth. Like, he probably thinks he's a decent guy. He probably thinks I employ a lot of people, even though I underpay them and treat them badly. So they should lick my boots. Like, I don't think he thinks he's evil, but he is. That's how the world works, right? There isn't some secret underground conspiracy group of people working to make the world a worse place. It's just that when we work within our own interests over caring about the population as a whole, really bad outcomes come out of that. We've seen that all throughout human history, and that's where we're at right now, with groups of incredibly rich people putting their interests above the interests of society and the people who live in it.
So despite the revolving door of politicians and elected officials, basically this same supreme group remains in power. Think puppet masters. So we are given the illusion of choice when we vote, but the majority of the time, I would say that no matter what candidate we're voting for, they are probably doing the bidding for these same evil people.
Again, we have this same both sides argument. We have this same both sides argument to try and say, oh, well, if it doesn't matter anyway, why don't vote for Donald Trump? Because even though he's a Republican and he's an idiot and he's done all these horrible things, well, both sides are the same anyway. And also, by the way, did you hear about this QAnon stuff? Actually, secretly, Trump isn't like the rest of them. Trump is this secret underground hero who's rooting out large pedophile ring. Like, it's all horse shit. It's all ways to try and get people to vote for Donald Trump, even though he is clearly the worst choice of the two that we are given. Jesus.
You have undoubtedly heard a lot of different names for this group of people. The deep state, the cabal, the can't say that word because I'll get in trouble.
You'll probably get demonetized by YouTube for saying Illuminati, because Illuminati is a ridiculous conspiracy theory and is not an actual organization. Jesus.
But whatever you want to call them, it's hard to nail down a concise term because they operate in such secrecy that it's hard to know exactly who they are. Some people are pretty obviously connected, but...
Oh, wait. Did I have Illuminati in here? Hold on. Damn, I don't have Illuminati on here. That's a shame.
Since the network is so protected and covert, it's not always clear who's at the top of the food chain and who's just doing their dirty work. But I think that looking at history with this perspective, we really see both...
Wait, was there deep state? Did I miss that? Hold on. Oh, yep. Boom. Ooh, I'm only 2 away from a bingo.
Heroes and villains on both sides of the aisle. And when we look back on some speeches from ex-presidents like JFK and Eisenhower and Reagan, they actually appear to have been trying to warn us about the power of this secret group.
It's almost like you can read too much into any speech by almost any president and come up with a bunch of conspiratorial bullshit. What a shock.
And maybe, just maybe, we can take the silence of the rest of them on this matter as possible complicity.
Oh my god. See these 3 specific presidents. I can put out little words that they had in their speeches and claim that it's all about this conspiracy theory I learned about on 4chan. Oh, what about the other presidents who said nothing about it? Their silence is evidence they're in on it. Do you see how ridiculous that sounds? You can't say they didn't talk about this, therefore it bolsters my argument even further. No, it doesn't.
So no, this is certainly not a right-wing conspiracy.
It is. It literally is. It is. I'd love to see a poll done that's like, hey, do you identify as right-wing, left-wing, center, Republican, Democrat, whatever, on some QAnon Facebook group or forum or whatever, and see what it comes out to. There's always going to be outliers, but if I had to guess, it's going to be 95% right-wingers.
But I can see how the benefit of claiming that would be to get a good portion of the nation immediately turned off from looking into it, right? There is another common...
I think the fact that it was posted on a forum known for having problems with child porn, 4chan, that would probably be enough to get people, which is hilarious too when you bring that up. Last Dinosaur, thanks for continuing your subscription. The whole QAnon conspiracy is supposed to be about like, oh, you know, oh shoot, my sub goal thing isn't working. Hold on, let me see if I can. The whole QAnon thing is supposed to be like, oh, we're rooting out pedophiles, and it originated on 4chan. 4chan, which is known for, like, having child porn issues.
One-liner that I see thrown out about Q in the mainstream media. And this one I'm going to have to dance around a little bit because I can't even say the term without getting in trouble on this platform. It has to do with a particular conspiracy theory that I mentioned in my intro video. If you haven't seen that, the guys on Edge of Wonder refer to it as pizza fence. So.
Oh, God. She's gonna get into the pizza place bullshit.
So we're gonna steal that. Mainstream channels can get away with saying the term.
Edge of Wonder. Edge of Wonder. Doon, 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 doon. Is this on Edge of Wonder? Edge of Wonder. Oh, I'm already subscribed to them. Oh, God. I'm guessing crazy conspiracy theorists. I don't think we watched them on here.
And basically they call Q Pizza Fence Part 2.
Yes, because they're related.
Again, I have to be super careful with what I say because censorship and suppression of this topic is serious.
Oh no, I try and spread misinformation on the internet and they won't let me. Wah.
That is only if you're using the term to say anything other than it's been debunked.
Because it has been multiple times. Random invite with 20 bits, aka communist werepire deep state communist agenda. Yes, they think that's all real and deep state.
Official sources are allowed to openly mock and dismiss it.
Yes. Yep. The same reason we mock, like, people who deny the Holocaust, or AIDS denialists, or someone who thinks dinosaurs aren't real, or that the world is flat. Like, all this shit is horse shit. It's not true. Stop falling for things that people say on 4chan.
But the rest of us can't debate it or discuss it or even mention the common term used for it. Let's all think about that for a second, keeping in mind what country we live in and what year it is. Yeah, seems fine to me. Moving on.
Your right to free speech means the government can't stop you from saying something, and they haven't. There's been no law passed that says you can't talk about these ridiculous conspiracy theories. But platforms like YouTube are under no obligation to platform your dangerous conspiracy bullshit. Nor is Twitter or Facebook or any private company.
So, I find it interesting that most people that I talk to about Pizza Fence think that it just has something to do with this guy getting his pizza joint shot up over rumors that he was trafficking children out of a basement that doesn't even exist.
Yeah, that's about the long and short of it. You could get more in depth in terms of it because we did watch the Fall of the Cabal video a while back that's trying to talk about it and how, like, oh, they had art shows at this place and I don't like the art they had there, so it must be secret cannibalistic pedophiles, and they're taking, like, they're molesting children and then stealing this chemical called adrenochrome from their brains to, like, use recreationally. It's like, explaining it further doesn't make it sound less crazy. People are being very generous when they just talk about, like, the idea that there was this basement where children were being trafficked, right? If you explain it further, it comes off as crazier, not more reasonable.
That ain't it. The real story is much bigger and has more to do with the...
True, the Foo Fighters were AIDS denialists. They may still be, but they stopped promoting it. But yeah, I don't think they've apologized
If you're in a
or
rock
anything.
band, Hello has been arrested for protesting sweatshop labour. And Bono endorses so many groups... schmaltzy, ain't... It's not. Alleged death, Nirvana drummer Dave... a political cause. I'm talking about the Foo Fighters. After Kurt Cobain's death, Nirvana drummer Dave Grohl switched to guitars and vocals and formed the Foo Fighters, and has spent close to a decade releasing multi-platinum and Grammy Award-winning albums. And their pet cause is so controversial and out...
They believe it doesn't exist? Yeah. They might think, and it depends upon the AIDS denialist, but some of them might think that, like, HIV exists, but they don't believe it causes AIDS. They don't believe that, the syndrome of AIDS exists.
...there that many people have probably never heard of it. They promote and raise money for an organisation called Alive and Well. A group...
Alive and Well, AIDS Alternatives was an organization which, again, promoted this AIDS denialism. And what do you know? A lot of the people in it had HIV, and they stopped taking their medication. And surprise, surprise, they died.
A group that believes AIDS is not a disease, and the AIDS problem is a myth perpetuated by pharmaceutical companies and highly paid AIDS lobbyists for their own financial self-interest.
And I'd like to call for a moratorium.
Christine has died, I think. I think she also had a child, and if you don't know, I think there's preventative care to try and help mitigate it, but She obviously doesn't believe that AIDS exists, so she got pregnant and had a kid, refused to have the kid tested to see if the HIV had transferred to the kid, and the kid died of AIDS. So this lady is a piece of human trash, and I'm glad she's dead.
On the unnecessary fear, this constant promotion of AIDS is a growing problem. When you look at the facts, it is not. It is not.
Alive and Well say AIDS is just a new word coined in the 1980s to describe things that already existed, like tuberculosis, pneumonia, and some forms of cancer. To the chagrin of mainstream AIDS campaigners, they put out books like What If Everything You Thought You Knew About AIDS Was Wrong? And tell people, don't get tested for HIV because the tests are a sham. If you're HIV positive, don't take the prescribed AIDS medication. It's this toxic medication that destroys your body, not HIV. HIV is not proven to be contagious, so you probably won't pass it on through unprotected sex. And
all of this is untrue. I shouldn't have to say that, but asterisk, 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 none of this is true. AIDS is real, HIV exists, and is transmittable. Please, get yourself tested. It'd be great. And if you do come out with HIV as positive, take your medications. You can live a long, fulfilling life, without transmitting it to other people on medication. Like, it's fine. Do that.
Current funding to find a
antiretrovirals are, like, really, really good nowadays.
Cure for AIDS is misdirected.
So I'm curious how Foo Fighters got involved in this.
Christine wrote a book. What if everything you thought you knew about AIDS was wrong? And I found the...
I think that most people have been scared of it.
Anyway, basically, you get it. The Foo Fighters are AIDS denialists. Back to the QAnon thing.
A DNC email dump on WikiLeaks, then some dude in his pizza place, which, by the way, the contents and authenticity of those emails...
By the way, don't trust WikiLeaks. You shouldn't at this point. They release documents that they claim are real with no evidence, and it's pretty clear that they've doctored many of them or made some of them up, so don't believe WikiLeaks.
Emails have never been refuted, but I think that we will get into that in a future video. So yes, the topic of, pizza fence has some implications having to do with the trafficking of children and some other really horrific things. So with stakes that high, if there's even a 1% chance that it's true, the fact that this conversation about it is being suppressed is very scary to me. But this is a good example of...
There is not a 1% chance it's true, and frankly, even if it were, your investigation into this thing should be proportional to the chance that it is true, right? But it's not. A guy walked into a pizza place with a fucking gun because he believed this bullshit. Oh god, I can't see my mouse. That's really annoying.
A limited hangout or a red herring.
There we go.
Where just a piece of a story is allowed to see the light of day, or when they...
Yeah, I saw the Biden VP announcement.
Use something false to lead us away from what's true or real, or when major attention is given to a select portion of a story in order to conceal the rest of it. So the guy who shot up a pizza place over, a basement that doesn't exist was just a tiny fragment of the story that was used to direct the public's attention away from the bigger picture. And
the bigger picture is a fraud. A fraud that convinced a mentally unstable individual to bring a loaded gun into a family restaurant and threaten people to let him into a basement that doesn't exist. There's a reason that's the biggest part of the story, and you know why? Because that actually happened. It was real. It was the fake conspiracy bullshit that led a real person to threaten other real people in a fucking restaurant with a gun. You people are dangerous. This is why you get censored, and you fucking deserve it. You spread absolute nonsense to fragile people who are clearly already mentally unstable to the extent that they will go out and threaten the lives of other people because of it. And then you're like, oh, we're so oppressed. Why won't anyone let us talk about this? Because it's not true. You've provided no evidence that it is, and you're driving people who are already vulnerable up a fucking wall into doing really dangerous criminal stuff. You guys are the bad guys here. Do you get that?
And dispel legitimate concern over the actual issue. If the potential real story here is about human trafficking, particularly the trafficking of children.
It's not. It isn't. Is there human trafficking in the United States? Abso-fucking-lutely. Look at Jeffrey Epstein, for instance. And he was specifically catering just to the rich. That's not even talking about child trafficking that takes place for less wealthy individuals. But it has nothing to do with this pizza place. And it has nothing to do with the DNC. Like, what are you talking about?
Isn't that a pretty important topic? I can't really think of much else on the planet that would be more important than that.
Okay, imagine if I said, what's this lady's name? Let's pretend this lady's name is Rachel. I don't know her name. Let's pretend it's Rachel. Let's say I say, guys, did you know Rachel is keeping child trafficking victims in her basement? Rachel, you know, who lives at, and then I give an address that's her address. She's keeping child slaves in her basement, and rich people are coming and stealing their adrenochrome. And then someone breaks into her house and tries to shoot it up, and she doesn't even have a basement in her house. And then my channel gets deleted. That would be reasonable, right? And then I just go, if this is about child trafficking, why are you censoring me? No. It's not because it's about child trafficking. It's because it's about unfounded claims of child trafficking in specific people's businesses, which had the result of them getting almost shot up by a crazy person who believes you. That's why. You can't just attach, like, child trafficking to your crazy conspiracy theory and then go, well, I'm just asking questions. Okay, you're asking ridiculous questions. The answer's no. Now fuck off. Like, that's the end of it.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Squid with 100 bits. The true tragedy of Pizzagate is that so much focus is spent on it that it takes away legitimate concerns from actual, real child trafficking issues. Imagine all the good that could actually get done if all these people focused on actual child trafficking issues. Jesus Christ. Yeah, and that's true. All these fucking keyboard warrior 4chaners are like, I'm so concerned about child trafficking, when I doubt they could name a single legitimate organization, a non-profit that helps people with child trafficking or victims. They want to feel good about themselves without doing anything outside of indulging in these self-important conspiracy theories. It's ridiculous.
So why are we shutting down any dialogue related to this issue? It's like the saying,
because it's not true. That's why. And because we know it's causing unstable individuals to take irrational actions, violent actions against people. This happened. Pizzagate caused a guy to go with a loaded gun into a family restaurant in Washington, D.C. You don't get to concern troll about this like, we're just asking questions. No. You're making allegations against people for which you have no evidence, causing unstable, conspiratorial individuals to threaten those that you have put these allegations against. You're fucking dangerous.
Goes, sunlight is the best disinfectant. So even if the claims are outlandish, I think it's worth discussion to get to the bottom of it. And
the second you get actual evidence and not a bunch of bullshit 4chan posts, great, take it to the cops. Take it to the media. Stop making ridiculous YouTube videos about 4chan posts and expecting people to take it seriously. Why can't we have this discussion? Because you've had the discussion. Everyone's heard about this shit, and we know it's bullshit. Until you have actual evidence, shut up about it. The free marketplace of ideas has spoken. You lose!
And not just cover people's mouths. I think in the history of the world, censorship has never played a part in uncovering the truth. And we know that human trafficking is real. We have seen some of the victims of it, and...
Okay, we know human trafficking is real, but if I claim you specifically are human trafficking people, are trafficking children, It doesn't matter that we know human trafficking is real. My claim has no evidence behind it because I'm not just saying somewhere someone's being human trafficked. I'm saying you are doing it and they are here and these are your motivations. All of those claims need to be evidenced. Thank you to Shylock for following. Welcome to the stream.
Even seen some arrests and convictions of some of the people involved. So why does it...
No, you haven't. Are you talking about Jeffrey Epstein? Because that has nothing to do with QAnon.
...get barely any coverage in the mainstream media? I'm going to read a piece of a presidential proclamation document from the whitehouse.gov website that was issued on December 31st, 2018. In 2017 alone, the Department of Justice secured convictions against more than 500 defendants in human trafficking cases, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation dismantled more than 42 criminal enterprises engaged in child sex trafficking.
Yes, this is not abnormal. This is normal. Child trafficking has existed for basically all of human history, and the federal government, often because this takes place over state lines, and between the border of the United States and other countries, they get involved on a federal level. Again, no one's claiming child trafficking doesn't exist. What we're saying is the specific brand espoused by Q that involves the DNC secretly trafficking children both for sexual purposes and for the purpose of stealing adrenochrome from their brains and then using it at, like, weird satanic orgies. These claims are ridiculous, and those are the ones that are QAnon. Like, what? No one is saying child trafficking doesn't exist. What we are saying is if you have evidence that child trafficking is being promoted and helped by officials in the government, then you need to evidence that claim. You can't just say it and say, well, child trafficking exists, look. Yeah, we know, but your claim isn't just child trafficking exists. Your claim is that people in the highest echelons of government are a part of these child trafficking rings, which you don't have evidence for.
The Department of Homeland Security initiated more than 800 human trafficking cases, resulting in at least 1,500 arrests and 530 convictions. This is only what we know. Was there anything else in 2018 or since? 42 criminal enterprises dismantled in 7...
Yes. Yep. Child traffickers exist, and the federal government goes after them. We all agree. That has nothing to do with the claims of QAnon, or whoever the multiple people QAnon are.
In 2017 alone. Where are these stories in the news? Did you hear about a single one of them? Because I didn't. We just had a major...
Clearly you did. You just quoted it. So, yes, you did hear about it. And also, unfortunately, it's kind of common. Human trafficking happens all the time, often for prostitution purposes. Whether they be of age or underage. Like, it's not super uncommon. And even when it does, like, let's take a look. Human trafficking ring. Let's look at news. Pontiac man accused of operating human trafficking ring. Flint police clear up rumors of human trafficking. Task force rescues several women from possible human trafficking. How Arizona couple helped fuel the Wayfair... Oh, that's about the conspiracy theory. There's a QAnon one. Local group raising awareness of human trafficking. So, Colorado Springs man accused of raping teen, human trafficking. Like, this stuff does go in the news, but it happens all the time too, unfortunately. So it's not like a huge national news story when some sex trafficking ring, whether it be adults or children, gets broken up, because it's a relatively common offense, or relatively common occurrence, rather.
Scandal take over the news, actually, about some owner of an NFL team getting busted in a kind of massage parlor prostitution ring. I don't even think he was actually attached to the prostitution ring. I think he was just going in for a massage and a hand, we'll call it an old-fashioned.
Correct. Yep. That was a thing that was happening in the city that they were in. It was a massage parlor that was doing a little more than massaging, if you know what I mean.
So, but news about it was everywhere. And I think that no matter who you are or what you believe, we can all agree that human trafficking is a way bigger deal than prostitution. So why aren't we hearing it?
They're connected, usually. They're usually connected. For instance, people who've been human trafficked. Let's focus on adults here, because obviously with kids it's a different story. But like adults can be human trafficked by them being offered by someone like, hey, we'll take you to America, we'll get you a job, yada yada yada. These things are mostly lies. They'll then bring them to the United States and say, hey, you owe us money for bringing you here, you better work for us, and then they basically force them into prostitution. So that is a thing that happens, but prostitution and human trafficking are sort of intrinsically linked. So if you're talking about human trafficking, you're probably talking about prostitution, at least in some way.
About these things. I mean, ratings would be through the roof if they detailed just one of the takedowns of one of these enterprises.
No, because human trafficking rings get taken down all the time. And locally, they do get covered. Like, let's say I'm in Arizona and a human trafficking ring gets discovered. Moderately sized, whatever the fuck that means in terms of whatever. I guarantee the local news is going to cover that. Then the state news, like news that's, you know, more or less covers the entire state. I'm talking like big market local news networks. So like probably the capital of Arizona or whatever the biggest like news network in Arizona is. I don't know what it would be. They would probably cover it. But that's not necessarily national news, right?
So again, this is one of the subjects that Q highlights for us to look into for ourselves. So it's been labeled Pizza Fence Part 2. But looking into human trafficking does not make you a conspiracy theorist.
It does if it's specifically looking into human trafficking caused by Satanist members of the DNC using child sex slaves to both get off and B, to steal a chemical from their brain called adrenochrome to use recreationally. That's conspiracy theory nonsense. And also on top of that, you have all the stuff where you're claiming like, oh, Trump isn't really an idiot. All the idiot things he does are secretly messages to us to let us know that things are happening. And this isn't even getting into like the crazy stuff that some of these QAnon people think. Like that Trump is like working with JFK Jr., who secretly faked his own death in 1999 and has been helping him ever since with the help of a time machine that Donald Trump's uncle figured out from getting Nikola Tesla's notes. I'm not kidding. These are real things some of these QAnon people believe. Literally, I did a video a while back on another Tinfoil Tuesday about that, and I asked a bunch of QAnon people watch that. Some are probably going to watch this video too, or at the very least click on the video, see that I'm not a QAnoner, and probably downvote. Either way, I was like, to one of those people, I was like, so do you believe JFK Jr. is using a time machine to help Donald Trump? And I swear to God, oh, DM Trey got a bingo. Yeah, link me the thing. Satanic child abuse, deep state, free space, Illuminati. Someone doesn't. Yeah, okay, great. DM Trey, you get it. Let me see if you already have a sub. Can I gift you a sub? Or do you already have one? Okay, looks like you already have one. I'll write your name down and then let me know when that comes due, and I'll get you a sub. I lost my train of thought completely on what I was talking about. Oh, so I was talking to someone in the comments about this. You know, I was like, oh, do you think JFK Jr. is losing a time machine? to help Trump, and one of them, I think they thought they were being reasonable, but they go, no, JFK Jr. doesn't have a time machine. Actually, he has what's referred to as a looking glass, which allows you to look into alternate realities and determine what's going to happen in the future. And he legit thought, like, gotcha, it's not a time machine, it's a device to look into alternate dimensions. And it's like, alright, bud, whatever you say. So anyway, continuing with the QAnon stuff. That was a quick bingo. We've only been going for an hour and a half. Holy shit. So yeah, we can keep playing for fun, though.
We know for a fact that these things are happening. Somebody's doing it. Playing it down might actually make you a conspiracy denier. These aren't just a few dozen people getting trafficked either. I think Polaris estimates it to be somewhere around in the thousands in the United States.
Did you just learn human trafficking is a thing? Yeah, it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. But it has nothing to do with the DNC or, like, Obama, as some of these weird QAnon people claim.
States. So this is not all being pulled off by a few low-level thugs.
Yeah, basically a time TV. It lets you look into alternate dimensions, which are basically like alternate futures, is what they claimed, and that allows them to decide what to do because they can see what the outcomes will be by looking at these alternate dimensions. Very strange. Very, very strange conspiracy nonsense.
If these numbers are true, and they seem to be, these are major operations and an industry pulling in billions of dollars.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Child trafficking is fucked up. You should probably spend your time and either donate your time or some money to some organizations that help victims of human trafficking or help raise awareness instead of going online and talking bullshit about QAnon and how Donald Trump is secretly a billionaire genius who is undermining the deep state, which has something to do with pedophilic sex rings.
So I think logic would tell us that there must be some people with some power and stature involved in helping to facilitate these crimes.
That's where you're having the problem, right? Why do you think that people need to be involved in the government in order for those operations to operate? There are tons of illegal enterprises going on all the time, whether it be human trafficking or drug trafficking or gun trafficking. It doesn't require someone in the government to be helping them. People get away with crimes sometimes. Often they'll eventually get caught, as we've seen with many of these human trafficking rings, but some of them get away with it, unfortunately. Just because there's a lot of them doesn't mean it needs the involvement of people in the government.
And I think that
you would need to evidence that claim if you believe it's real.
This topic needs our full attention, and yet it gets none, and that's suspicious to me. And if it isn't to you, then it isn't. But why would anyone have a problem with someone else wanting to look into it further?
You can look into whatever you want. The problem is when you start making claims that are ridiculous and leading people down paths of lies. Again, the claim that there are tons of people being human trafficked. True, yeah. I'm glad you're concerned about human trafficking victims. But the claim that people in the government that are the deep state are somehow in on it, that's ridiculous, and you have no evidence for that claim. That's why you're getting censored, because you're spreading outright lies to people. That's the problem. Squid with 50 bits, bootleg DVDs, now brought to you by facilitation of the U.S. government.
So, whether it gets ignored by the mainstream media or not, if you look into it just a little, you will discover clues that make it pretty undeniable that something major is happening in our country, made all the more suspicious by the lack of reporting on it. I will give you an example.
The fact that people aren't reporting on my crazy conspiracy theory means I'm right. Have you heard of confirmation bias? Maybe look it up.
the number of sealed cases that have been racked up in our country since October 2017 alone. The total number of sealed cases in the US currently is over 76,000.
Okay.
That's a little under 5,000 added per month. Let me put this into perspective for you. In a typical year, the number of sealed cases in our country is a little over 1,000. 1,000.
You have a source for that? Let's take a look, shall we? Let's see if we can find information. How many sealed cases are there? Sealed cases in federal courts, 2009. That's from 2018. There are dozens of sealed criminal indictments on the D.C. docket. Sealed cases in federal court currently. This is still from 2009. Dang it. Let me see if she has sources. She doesn't. What a shock. Let me see if I can find specifically where her thing was. Sealed cases filed 11/30/17 through 2/28 from the research team. Oh, God. Who the fuck are these people on Twitter at Avery1776? Let me see if I can. Avery1776. Oops. 1781. This person does QAnon stuff. Trying to find if they have any sources on that. Alexander Hamilton, yeah. Frustrating. tinypacer.gov. Public access to court election recordings. Search for a case. Let me see if I can find more specifics. New sealed court proceedings. I can't fucking read it.
Let me put this total number of sealed cases in the US currently is over 76,000.
I see they're from pacer.gov, but how do you specifically search through that? Quarterly announcements, search for a case, search by a specific court, by national index maybe. Log into Pacer Case Locator. Oh, God. I literally can't get into this. Good source. Access to case information costs 10 cents per page. The cost to access a single document is capped at $3, the equivalent of 30 pages. So these people would have had to spend, let's see, hold on, 76,492 cases. So let's assume most of those are more than 3 pages. Even if they're, 76. 492 times, let's say they're 1 page each. Let's be generous. Times 0.10. They spent $7,649 and all their time to look up every single sealed criminal case on this website? I doubt it.
That's a little under 5,000 added per month. Let me put
They
this in.
searched for sealed records? How do you do that, though? And you have to be granted access to Pacer? Okay. So they'd have to be someone who has clearance to be in there, or a lawyer or something that knows how to, that has the ability to search that shit. Either way, no offense, I do not trust just a spreadsheet created by a bunch of random QAnoners on Twitter. So, if you want to say that this is true, you need to explain how other people can go and check this.
That's a little under 5,000 added per month. Let me put this into perspective for you. In a typical year, the number of sealed cases in our country is a little over 1,000. 1,000.
Yeah, no, that discrepancy isn't that big. There's zero chance.
And we have been getting almost 5 times that per month in the last 17 months.
Doubt?
I think that's pretty eye-opening. That's a whole lot of somebody's possibly going down for something. But who?
If this were the case, this would have leaked. There's 0% chance you would have this many people being taken down for an international child trafficking ring and not have a single judge or lawyer or someone go to the press with it. Wouldn't happen.
And for what? Where is the media coverage on this? So Q asks us questions that give us clues and make us, look into some of these things deeper so that we can start uncovering the truth for ourselves, because we obviously aren't being told. We can really no longer trust that if something is important, we're for sure going to hear about it on the nightly news, or rely that we're always going to be given the full story or how things connect.
Again, if you're making a claim, you have to evidence it, though. You have no evidence that there are people in the upper echelons of government that are secretly involved in a child trafficking ring, and that's your claim. Evidence it.
So, I want to try something fun.
Couldn't someone just fake a spreadsheet like that? Yeah, I think that's what they did. You need to be granted access to Pacer, so it's not like I can go fact check it. And it's not even a spreadsheet they downloaded from the site. It's like one they made up themselves. So,
play a game. And let's say that, hypothetically, some of the wealthiest people...
Is the Q in QAnon supposed to be his clearance level? Yes.
In our country, wealthiest and most powerful, were involved in some treason-level organized crime. Let's say, for example, human trafficking. Why not? I mean, it's $1 billion industry. These people really like money, it seems.
Rich people do like money. I agree. Down with the rich.
So I wonder if these people were doing this, if they might need to recruit the help of some lower level people through bribery and blackmail, say elected officials, law enforcement.
Wait, elected federal officials are lower level people in your mind?
Judges, maybe some existing crime organizations to help them pull it off. I mean, after all, they aren't going to get off their chubby rich buns and do the grunt work themselves, are they?
You understand that the more people that get involved in this conspiracy, the less likely it is to be real. The more people that are getting involved in this in your story, the higher the likelihood someone's going to blow the whistle.
And they can't risk getting caught and going to jail.
And you're also claiming that, like, JFK and Roosevelt, I think you mentioned, knew about this, which would mean it would be a conspiracy that's, like, really, really old. So you're telling me a conspiracy that involves thousands of people? Your document said just the indicted ones are like 50, 60 something thousand people. You think that number of people can keep a secret for over 50 years? Are you fucking serious?
Jail. So actually, it might require having a lot of people in your pocket to not only do the work, but also to look the other way. Actually, to really ensure your safety, you would most likely need assets at just about every level. both at the very bottom and the tippy top.
Again, this makes your claim absurd. No one from the bottom to the top blew the whistle? What?
So, hypothetically,
the only way 3 people can keep a secret is if 2 of them are dead, and even then, it's not a guarantee.
if this crime ring existed, not only of this magnitude and size, but in wealth and power, and it was your job to take them down, what would you do? Well, first you might want to assemble a really great team of strategic-minded, badass military people. But then could you just go out and arrest everybody all at once? You might not even have the manpower to do that. And if you couldn't do it all at once, when you started arresting people, it might tip off other guilty parties and they could start to flee the country and destroy evidence, et cetera, et cetera. Plus, having this...
Why would you need any more evidence? You apparently have tens of thousands of people with sealed indictments. A bunch of them are going to talk if they get arrested. You don't need any more evidence.
Happen all at once out in the open could actually cause some civil unrest. So it sounds to me like you might need a better strategy. Maybe like, I don't know, sealed indictments? So
again, you need to actually, like, give us citations on where they're getting this information other than just pacer.gov, which no one else has access to if they're not a lawyer. Anyone can make a spreadsheet.
So you could systematically and secretly start making arrests? But what happens if some of the people whose job it is to do some of the investigating and arresting are actually involved in this ring of corruption? You would probably need to address that, right? And even if you got rid of the corruption in those departments and you actually got these people arrested, you would probably need to make sure that you had judges in place that were on the right side of things so that these people didn't just go free.
I'm so concerned, and I'm gonna say this, I don't think that's likely to happen. But boy, what if Donald Trump decided to get really, really fashy, and he decided, you know what? Fuck this election. I don't want to have this election. We're gonna do a false flag. Hey, William Barr, we're gonna arrest a bunch of people and say it was because of this QAnon thing. So can we doctor some evidence and arrest a bunch of Democrats and say that they're in on the QAnon thing? Because Trump knows QAnon is a thing in terms of conspiracy theories. A good chunk of the population would believe him. If he started arresting political enemies and claiming that it's because they're part of some secret child ring, like child trafficking ring, and like Satanists and they're stealing adrenochrome from children, even though this would be the most blatant, obvious power grab in the history of power grabs, I swear to fucking God, a bunch of people in this country would be like, yay! We did it! We did a Reichstag fire!
So all of that together means maybe one of your first steps will also need to be clearing out the DOJ and the FBI, both by firing people and cutting deals, allowing others to step down publicly in exchange for ratting out bigger fish, perhaps. But then you might be...
Trump removing political enemies, and this is what I'm talking about. Trump removing political enemies from places of power and putting in cronies is being, like, bent to be a good thing by these people. Like, no, Donald Trump is removing people who aren't his yes men from the government. That's fucked up. That's what fascists do.
Saying to me, but Kate, where would we put all of these thousands of treasonous bastards? That's a really good question. Maybe we could, like, I don't know, find $200 million and use it to expand Gitmo. You know, Gitmo, which currently has 40 prisoners.
That would be awful. Can you imagine Trump coming out and being like, great news, I've discovered that the Democrats have been running child trafficking rings. All Democratic senators are going to be removed and sent to Guantanamo Bay immediately. This is huge. Believe me, it would be a fucking nightmare. And half the people in this country would fucking cheer. It'd be like an episode 3 moment, so this is how democracy dies, with thunderous applause.
$200 million for 40 prisoners. That's what, like $5 million per prisoner? That sounds like a very fancy prison.
I mean, it's like a really, really secure prison in another country. So, yeah.
I would like to see that prison. Do I look okay? Is there a dress code? Is it cocktail attire? So I know all of this seems like a very wild story when you put it all together like that, but that's kind of the point. It really appears that if there are any dots to connect with all of these things currently going on...
Imagine hearing about Guantanamo Bay expanding and thinking it's a good thing. Literal fucking gulags, and being like, yeah, this sounds great. Gulag it up. Extrajudicial holding of political enemies. Sign me up.
It's up to us to connect them ourselves. And that's just connecting dots between some of the things we're told. What about all of the things that we're not being told? I mean, 76,000 sealed cases.
Again, someone may... Hold on.
That's just connecting dots between some of the things we're told. What about all of the things that we're not being told? I mean,
Again, this is a spreadsheet that these people who are QAnon people made. I have no way of checking these numbers. I'm not going to trust a source that I cannot check. Period. Anyone can make a spreadsheet like this, and you can tell this isn't something they just pulled, because down here at the bottom they put their own shit, you know? They wrote their, you know, tiny URL, they had their ats all over this. They made this. How do I have any way of checking these numbers?
76,000 sealed cases sitting there waiting to be unsealed. Thousands of human trafficking arrests and multiple criminal enterprises getting taken down, and it's all being ignored by the people that we trust to keep us informed. And without Q, it really seems to me like none of this would be getting any attention.
Yeah, that'd be great, because this is all conspiracy nonsense.
These are just some of the pieces that have jumped out to me and others that sure do make it seem like there's something big going on in our country behind the scenes. And remember that this is worldwide. Wait until we get into some of the things going on in places like Saudi Arabia and North Korea and Europe. Corruption...
The United States government has no power over that. What are you talking about? We know North Korea's bad. We know North Korea has concentration camps. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like this is like bed bugs. You gotta clean every bit of it out at once, otherwise don't even bother. So keep in mind that this is actually just a tiny fragment of all of the strange and some unprecedented things going on and getting swept under the rug by the mainstream media. I could go on for literally hours with a bunch of other things. And I plan to. It's why I started a YouTube channel, baby. So I've documented a bunch of what we covered in this video in the description below. So don't forget to check those out and go through all of those links.
Thanks for rating. I appreciate
Start digging for
that.
yourself, even if you think all of this stuff sounds too crazy to be true. Either way, it's really cool just to be informed, like actually.
Informed. I think the word you're looking for is misinformed. Let's see if there's a spot we can report this video at.
I think it's worth discussion. It has to do with a particular conspiracy theory that I mentioned in my intro video. If you haven't seen that, the guys on Edge of Wonder...
where's the report button? Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Hey, if you want to link this video for absolutely no reason, there it is in the chat. I don't know if you wanted to maybe, you know, report it to YouTube for promoting dangerous conspiracy theories like Pizzagate, but hey, if you did, there's a link. That was super weird for a minute. Kept hearing the previous stream people talking after the raid. Yeah, you gotta, once you raid, you're still technically connected, so you gotta end your stream thing. Otherwise, you can hear them talking over, you know. Anyway, QAnon stuff is just ridiculous. It really is. And these people, they're not right. They're not mentally right. And they've taken this belief to such an extreme that they believe that, like, they're these crusaders for justice, and secretly Donald Trump isn't an idiot. He's this, like, anti-pedophile, you know, super guy, despite the fact that, of course, Donald Trump is, you know, a creep, and probably, like, if any rich people have, let's say, worked with Jeffrey Epstein, or paid for his services, it's probably Donald Trump and Bill Clinton, right? You know? So, just very, very stupid to think that, oh my god, look, it's Donald Trump in a Punisher outfit. These people are insane. Alright, fuck the QAnon shit. We're moving on. The Bolshevik virus.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe and Brianna. We're coming to you live. This is Friday, August 7th, 2020, ladies and gentlemen, and we're coming to you live from the sunny streets of Fullerton, California. We have made it to the weekend. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.
I gotta find one where he's not in his car.
This is Joe and Brianna, the Fullerton Informer.
The mystery illness in schools. Joe, it's not a mystery, it's COVID-19. It's the coronavirus.
Folks, I've been coming to you for the better part of a decade, trying to expose what is being done to the children in the classrooms with the electromagnetic weaponry that people like to call harmless Wi-Fi. I've been fighting the installation.
Wi-Fi is harmless. It's fine. We've had Wi-Fi for a long time. There's no studies that show there's any adverse effect on anyone from using Wi-Fi. You're being like Chuck from Better Call Saul right now. Stop it. Electromagnetic waves are not hurting you.
And deployment.
They're literally everywhere. Light is an electromagnetic wave, right?
Of these weapons. And make no mistake about these technology systems, they are weaponized. We are now facing them turning these weapons on. 60 gigahertz millimeter waves are a component of the new Wi-Fi systems. It's called WiGig. These chips are included in the industrial strength access points in the schools. I have records from several school districts confirming that the districts do not have any control over the affected radiated power or the frequencies of these industrial strength access points.
Because they've already been approved by the FCC, right? If you buy a consumer grade or industrial grade device to transmit Wi-Fi or whatever you might be doing in terms of telecommunications, it's already been approved by the FCC. There's a reason you're not allowed to open it up and fuck with it and change the power levels and the frequency, because the FCC is pretty strict on what you're allowed to broadcast, where, and why, right? It's for safety reasons. So when you get a router, it operates on the frequencies that have already been approved by the FCC that are like, hey, this is fine. It's benign electromagnetic radiation. It's great. It works great. Don't open your Wi-Fi router up and try and, like, fuck with it. It won't work.
As they literally install them right out of the box into the classrooms. Every one of these access points has the capability of being remote controlled. Off has the capability of being remote controlled. Off-site, off-premise. Every one of these access points has the ability to have power levels increased and frequencies changed, as well as modulation changed. Every one of these access points in the schools are weaponized. As you will see, when these weaponized systems were installed, you will see the effects on the children, including the news coverage. There is absolutely no excuse for what was done to these children. It's absolutely amazing how these people can get ready to do things to our children and expect us not to figure them out. Folks, this is the basis of the entire forced vaccination agenda. They are going to induce illness. This time in the fall, it will be with children in the classrooms, and they're going to blame the virus.
Okay, because it's going to be the virus. If people have respiratory issues after they go back to school, it's because they caught COVID-19 and we opened schools too soon. Jesus.
You need to expose this information. You need to study what happened here. You need to understand 60 gigahertz millimeter wave beam-forming oxygen molecule disturbing and disrupting technology.
It's fine. It's fine. The frequency that 5G uses is fine. It's completely fine. If you stand right next to, like, a 5G tower, like, right where it's emitting, you might feel a little bit of heat, but that's about it. If you're far, like, the way that they're used, it is not dangerous. It's not dangerous at all. It's just a different, like, wavelength that they can send signals on. It's fine. Chill out.
That is aimed at your children.
A health scare sends more than 24 students from Cardinal Gibbons High School to the hospital today. They're doing okay right now, but whatever made them sick is still a mystery. CBS 4's Gary Nelson is live at the school in Fort Lauderdale with more on the story. Gary?
Well, Fort Lauderdale Fire Rescue ran all kinds of tests trying to figure out what made so many people so sick, and darned if they could. At Cardinal Gibbons High School, something made 26 students and 1 staff member sick enough to be taken to area hospital.
Let's take a look if we have an update on this story. Cardinal Gibbons High School. Let's see if we can find out if they ever figured it out. Ba-ba-ba. Cardinal Gibbons student athletes tests positive for COVID-19. Let me see if high school. Sickness. Coronavirus. Does he have a source on the original video? That'd be good. I kind of doubt it though. Where did he go? Of course he doesn't have goddamn sources.
Starting shortly after 11:30 Monday morning.
Those students were having various states.
Carbon monoxide exposure? That's what I was thinking. But I wanted to see if they actually found the leak or something, but I can't find any articles about it, so I don't know when this even was.
Some had syncopal episodes or were passing out. Some had nosebleeds. Some were having shortness of breath.
The students began falling ill shortly after they left a prayer service in the gymnasium. They were getting sick in classrooms and other areas all over the school.
It's like passing out and stuff like that. Some people started having nosebleeds. Some other people were having ear pain.
Some parents came running to the school concerned for their kids.
I texted with my children, and one said she felt sick later on, so I told her to go to the paramedics.
So what was it? What caused 27 people to become seriously ill at Cardinal Gibbons, some to the point of fainting?
We've searched back and forth. We've done 3 different samplings. We've used our monitors and have come up with nothing.
The one thing all the victims had in common is they were all in the gym shortly before they got sick. Fire Rescue speculates that after all the doors had been opened, something that had been released into the air perhaps quickly dissipated. At last report, all 27 patients had vastly improved. We're live in Fort Lauderdale. Gary Nelson, CBS 4 News.
They were a result of electromagnetic exposure with technology.
You have absolutely no evidence. There's been no evidence that electromagnetic radiation that we use in consumer products has been causing adverse effects or dangers or health problems for anyone ever. Period. Stop with this crazy nonsense.
that is being rolled out and installed right now in all.
Wait, do I have 5G on here? Ooh, I think I don't have 5G. That sucks.
All of these places, namely 60 gigahertz WiGig electromagnetic communication systems in the school's Wi-Fi systems. Ladies and gentlemen, it is
Wi-Fi has been in schools. When I was in high school, we had Wi-Fi. Like, this is not a new thing. If Wi-Fi was actively hurting people, everyone in the country for the past 10 years would be having problems. And every Starbucks and McDonald's, no one would eat there because they'd feel ill every time they walked inside because they have strong Wi-Fi. Like, what? Do you not see how picking out a specific of one school where some kids got sick and they don't know why shows that you're wrong? Because Wi-Fi isn't just at this one school. If this were a problem caused by the Wi-Fi and not something specific to the school in which these kids were getting sick, then it would be happening all over the country for the past 10 years.
It is unbelievable and inconceivable that we could sit back and let these people get away with what they're doing.
Airborne, if it's not airborne, if it's, contagious in any way.
Classes at a Stockton elementary school are back in session after a scary situation involving at least 10 students who suddenly became ill, some even passing out. The incident is being investigated, but several concerned...
Again, probably a gas leak. There was probably a gas leak somewhere. Mysterious illness hit Stockton school. Mysterious illness hits Stock. How did they spell that? Stockton. CBS Sacramento. Let me see if there's an update.
Oh, where it was, or if it's...
about the tools of capitalism.
Dragon Mike with a bit says this was in November of 2018. I think I remember hearing about it, but I don't think they figured it out. First school he mentioned. Okay. Well, let me see about this second one. Let me see if there's an update on this. Still working with police and firefighters to determine the cause. Mysterious illness at Stockton School. Let me see if there's any comments on the video. That update. Oh God, here's someone saying they think it's 5G. People are the worst. Possibly tied to COVID-19. 15 children who had the coronavirus have recently been hospitalized. That's about COVID-19. Yeah, we don't have an update on it. Probably a gas leak, would be my guess. And my claim has more standing than the Fullerton Informer because we know people get sick from gas leaks, but we also know people don't get sick from Wi-Fi. So,
parents say,
Tara the Cat, thanks for continuing your subscription with a 3-month streak.
They're scared to take their children back to campus.
I gotta fix this sub-goal box. It's not updating for some reason. Very strange. Visual settings. Why won't it continue to update? Huh. I'll fuck with it after the stream.
CBS 13's Carlos Correa is live in Stockton with more on this scary situation, Carlos.
That's right. Several parents met with school officials about the incident, and they still don't have a clear answer as to what happened. Haliam Gentry received an alarming message from her daughter's school Wednesday. It was an alert about an incident involving several students.
I checked our voicemails, and they said 10 or more kids passed out for unknown reasons.
The Stockton Unified School District confirms that a few students at Hong Kingston Elementary School did
It is through
experience
it's through Streamlabs, yeah, but it's connected to my Twitch account, so it should work.
And some even passed
It was working yesterday, so.
out. The reason is still being investigated.
Oh, could be food poisoning too. Maybe the kids all had the same thing for like lunch at school, and something was wrong with it.
I don't know where it was, or if it's airborne, if it's not airborne, if it's, contagious in any way. then these kids are going to get sick, and I don't want mine to get sick. I need a little bit more answers before I let her return back to school.
First responders examined the students. 4 of the kids were taken to area hospitals for further testing. In a statement, administrators say all students were reported as stable and none were admitted.
We're sending our kids here with you guys.
School was placed on east in the in a call that.
With respect to this alleged virus,
It's not an alleged virus. It is a virus that exists with lots of evidence. You can go and look at it. Let me see if they photographed COVID-19 photos of COVID-19. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Like a real one, like a microscopy picture. Like some kind of electron microscopy. There you go. There's one. Look at it. It's coronavirus. Woo! You can see pictures of it.
just today I've talked to two people, folks, that had family members or close friends sign up to go get a COVID test, and they got in line and they waited in line and they left because they didn't want to stay in the line. And both of these people had friends and family members that left the line that did not get a COVID test and came back and was contacted by authorities, and they tested positive without even submitting to the test. Doubt. So, you know, that's a whole nother discussion, folks. But what I want to get into here is how the
Trust me, guys, some people on the internet said this to me, so it must be true. Brilliant.
Attack on the children is going to go, and they're already talking about acute flaccid myelitis. I've talked about AFM many times. I was really into this discussion about a year and a half ago to a year ago. I did a lot of videos on the paralytic, neuroinvasive disorders that are induced electromagnetically and chemically. And now they are, rearing the warning bell about children succumbing to a strange paralytic illness.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention warned parents and doctors Tuesday that it expects another outbreak this year of a rare but life-threatening condition that mostly affects children. Outbreaks of acute flaccid myelitis, a serious neurologic condition that can cause paralysis, typically peak every 2 years between August and November. While rare, parents and doctors should be vigilant to recognize symptoms of AFM because it progresses quickly over the course of hours or days, leading to permanent paralysis or life-threatening respiratory failure in previously healthy patients, according to the CDC.
Thank you.
And now they're telling us that COVID has all these different
MDK
symptoms,
for following,
and that we're not mounting an immune response to COVID, and that
these are the blue
it's
things here.
behaving
COVID
differently, it's
also.
mutating. But I want you to pay particular attention to these classrooms.
New at 10, Green Country parents at a loss for words, concern for their child's life. An alarming number of Dewey High School girls paralyzed after having seizures, and no one knows why.
2RX reporter Travis Guillory spoke to parents who have more questions than answers.
That's right. Parents are trying to figure out what's going on, but they aren't getting the answers they need. Dewey Public School Superintendent Vince Vincent released information today about the incidents, but one dad says it leaves more questions than answers.
This guy, I don't mean to comment on someone's look. This guy looks very young. Like, he just looks very, very young, even though he's clearly an adult.
I'm letting my daughter go every day, and it's like rolling.
Yeah, the Fullerton Informer guy, I don't know your name, you just cited the CDC where they talked about this illness, though, so that's the answer.
On the dice. She may wake up the next morning not be able to move her legs. Yeah, she may be at school and have seizures. She may not be able to speak right.
James Cutler's daughter is terrified to walk through the doors of Dewey High School.
She said, I'm not sure if I can use the facilities, if I can drink water there, what I can touch, what I can't touch. And that's when it hit me. I'd have no answer for my daughter.
The superintendent tried to provide those answers Friday in a press release. He said the Department of Health conducted water and mold tests, but neither found anything suspicious. Although the superintendent did say a number of students were diagnosed with conversion disorder.
And if that's the case, you know, we need to be educated more on that. And if it's not, then we need to look other directions too.
Conversion disorder. Conversion disorder. Disorder in which a person experiences blindness, paralysis, or other symptoms affecting the nervous system that cannot be explained solely by a physical illness or injury. Symptoms usually begin suddenly and after a period of emotional or physical distress or psychological conflict. Interesting.
In case it isn't this.
Conversion disorder is described as a mental condition in which a person feels paralyzed or has other nerve system symptoms that can't be explained by medical evaluation. But with up to 20 girls having seizures and similar symptoms, parents are still puzzled.
We've got a little bit of something to go with, but now we've got more questions.
With no medical explanation or common denominator, Cutler says he isn't sure where to turn, but knows someone has to find a solution.
This is why I'm wanting help for the community, for our girls.
The Department of Health tells 2 Works for You the agency is no longer investigating because nothing came up in the mold and water tests. The superintendent said Dewey Public Schools is now working with the Department of Environmental Quality. In the studio, Travis Guillory, 2 Works for You.
The reason they want your children back in school is so they can use beamforming weaponized 60 gigahertz millimeter wave, weaponized radio frequency emissions aimed at their faces to make them lose their breath and succumb to an illness that will mimic a respiratory ailment that they will blame on the coming COVID-20 that they're going to roll out.
Oh boy, you thought COVID-19 was crazy. Just wait until COVID-20. You know that COVID-19 doesn't just mean it's like the 19th COVID, right? It means it was a COVID discovered in 2019. So you're saying we're gonna find another new coronavirus in 2020? I mean, based on how this year's been shaping up, I wouldn't be surprised, but like, what?
Gates wants your children in the classrooms. K through 12 children are going to go to school in the fall. Why? Why are they not talking about this, folks? Gates wants your children back in the school in the fall. Harvard wants your children back in the school. They don't want you homeschooling. They want children in the classrooms. Why?
No, Donald Trump wants kids back in school. I'm pretty sure Bill Gates has said it's very stupid for us to have kids going back to school right now, which is the correct opinion.
Why? Why do they want your children in the classroom? So they can use the weaponry on your children.
First at 5 o'clock, some parents in Dewey are concerned for their children's health after several students had seizures and trouble walking and talking. News on 6's Amy Slanchik is live on this story with what the school and parents are saying tonight. Amy?
Terry and Lori, I've spoken with...
Let me see if I can fix this sub-goal thing, because boy, it's really annoying me. Let me see if I can get it to work. Sub-goal. Add source. Add source. Hopefully it'll work now. I don't know why it hasn't been working. Very strange.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Tentacle Todd with 500 bits. The stupid makes my scalp ache. Giving bits to help ease the pain. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Several parents today, and one tells me their child has had seizures for months. Other parents say symptoms have just started showing up in the last few days.
Lexi, are you okay?
Tara Madden says she hasn't had a normal conversation with her daughter Alexis since Wednesday. She says Alexis is barely able to get her words out. She shared video with us of her daughter's symptoms, trouble talking and walking.
She can't walk. She walks like a toddler.
Okay, I'm done with the Fullerton Informer. Nathan. Globe Busters. We could do some Globe Busters. Psyman Dan, lying NASA shell. Let's check this out. If you haven't already, check out Psyman Dan. He does a lot of flat Earth debunk stuff. He's pretty entertaining, and he has the knowledge base to actually, you know, debunk stuff better than I do. That's for sure.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Dude spanking dudes. Oh, hey Jake, what's going on? What time am I ending? Probably around 8:30 or so. We had that kind of thing happening in my high school in the 90s. It was meningitis, and it paralyzed one guy and killed a girl, and 3 others got real sick. You know. Anyway, yeah, Psyman Dan. Good YouTuber. Check him out. And this is apparently going to call him a lying NASA shill because he understands that the Earth isn't flat.
So, I got a few hundred more nasty comments from the Psyman Dan cult yesterday, and so it didn't take long to realize that he made another video about me. How Psyman Dan's hired propaganda army works is beyond me, but it's certainly organized, but it doesn't really bother me.
They're not hired. He's just a popular YouTuber because he's funny and he makes fun of globe buster type people. Like, you people are ridiculous. It's entertaining. I've watched basically his entire Flat Earth debunk playlist just because it's really interesting to hear what you people have to say and have someone who actually understands science debunk it.
Maybe I'll try to address a few more of Psyman Dan's arguments on the Globebusters, if others think it's interesting, but I at least wanted to address a couple of Psyman Dan's claims. Yes, all of his arguments were silly, but unlike Psyman Dan, I don't get a penny for my videos. I don't have any merchandise to sell. I have a career and a family to take care of.
Psyman Dan also has a career. I'm pretty sure he owns a company that does tutoring. So he does the internet stuff, and he makes money on that. I'd imagine he has a decent number of subscribers, and he gets good views on his videos. But he also has a business that does well.
And so I don't have all day to make a video response to address all of his nonsense. So let's start with this one. One other thing. Notice that there is no thrust from the nozzle. Yes, there should have been a huge flame and obvious lights.
Hey, bud, here's the thing about space. There's no oxygen in it. And you know what you need for sustained flame in space? Some kind of fuel. That's why the space shuttle, for instance, or any rocketry, will typically include, like, liquid oxygen so that it can help burn, right? Because there's none in space. Did you see the explosion there that was like, and it made it shoot upwards? That was the thrust. They're on the moon, which has relatively low gravity, so they don't need this giant jet of flame coming out. Otherwise, they'd way overshoot the module that they have to link up with in orbit of the moon in order to get back to Earth.
Source from the nozzle.
No, there shouldn't. Here is a short clip from the Vintage Space YouTube channel telling us why.
But the lunar module didn't burn the same combination of fuel and oxidizer. Instead, it used hypergolic fuels, or hypergols. Hypergols burn on contact. They don't need an ignition source, which means all you have to do is open a valve, let the two mix, and boom, you're off. Which is great with spaceflight because that's one less thing to worry about. Another characteristic of hypergols is that they typically burn clear. This is the case of the lunar module. Both the lunar module ascent stage and descent stage used a mix of aerosine 50 and dinitrogen tetroxide, a fuel and an oxidizer that burn on contact with a character.
I love her hair color. This has nothing to do with science. But someday I'd love to dye my hair that color.
Characteristic clear flame.
I do have to commend NASA for using a beautiful propagandist.
Dude, just address the claim. Don't be a fucking creep.
It's a wonderful change from Psyman Dan, and it's strangely makes me want to conform. But I guess the truth is more important to me.
Hey, Globebuster guy. maybe stop being horny on Maine for a second and try and actually explain away the actual science that was just explained to you.
Even though she's hot, she isn't telling you the truth. I didn't think that was possible. Anyways, did you notice that she used the words clear flame?
Yes, clear flame exists. It exists on Earth, too. Check this out. Invisible fire. So invisible fire is a thing that can happen. It's happened during NASCAR events because something about the fuel that they use. Thank you to Power Gloves for Power Hugs. Thank you for following. Cool name. During NASCAR events, I think it has to do with the kind of fuel they use. There's like a fuel spill sometimes, and it'll light on fire, but the fire is invisible. Like they're on fire right now.
This is a fire you cannot see. It's an alcohol fire. Both Rick Mears and his chief mechanic are alight. You cannot see it, but they are engulfed in flames. The difficulty for the marshals is that they cannot see the flames, and here they try desperately to put the flames out. Mears grabs the extinguisher to douse himself, and there the mechanic is leaping up and down. He's burning, and they...
Frankly, this makes the Talladega Nights scene, I think, a lot funnier, because he may have actually been on fire.
cannot see it. The marshal's dilemma is that this fire is not visible. To compound the problem, behind Mears is a tank containing 200 gallons of highly inflammable fuel. We still see the marshals...
You know what I hate? I hate that the term flammable and inflammable mean the same thing. Stop it.
Put out the flames on the chief mechanic. They cannot see these flames. It really is a terrible problem. They submerged the car in extinguishant, and we shan't know.
So we get it. Basically, invisible fire is a real thing.
For comparison purposes, this is a clear flame produced by burning alcohol. You can still see the flame, but it is rather invisible. So, the question is whether the hypergolic fuel mix...
You could literally see when the... Hold on, let me see if I can pause it at the right time.
So, the question is...
The reason that you could see the flame when you put the paper in is because the paper... See, you can't see it in the glass. But when you see it right here, it's specifically because it starts the paper burning, and the paper burning is not a clear flame. So you have to be looking in the glass, where it is in fact invisible. I think this guy saw this and went, it's not invisible, look, you can see it. Well, that's because he was just using the paper to demonstrate that the glass is on fire, right? Once it gets on the paper, it starts burning the carbon in the paper, and it's a visible flame.
Rather invisible. So, the question is whether the...
You can literally see it right here. You can see the thrust being produced by whatever system it is.
Hypergolic fuel mixture of the Apollo 15 and Apollo 17 ascent stages would have burned clear, and thus mostly invisible.
Again, you can literally see the thrust being produced. It's right here. You guys see this, right? Like, how are globebusters looking at this and going, I don't see anything? It's right there. It's right there.
From the remote-controlled camera on the moon, operated 234,000 miles away. To her credit, she was right about the alleged fuel used by the lunar lander movie prop.
Alleged fuel? You mean the fuel?
It was an alleged mixture of dinitrogen tetroxide and Aerozine 50.
I feel like if you were asked what either of those things are, you wouldn't be able to explain it. Now, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't either. But I also understand that the engineers at NASA do know what that is, and that it's real. The fact that you could pronounce certain words and can put the word allegedly in front of them doesn't delegitimize the actual science being done by people at NASA.
It sounds so impressive. But is the flame from the hypergolic propellant invisible, as she claimed? This video comes from the School of Chemistry at the University of Nottingham, where they recreated the chemical reaction that allowed astronauts to blast free from the moon's gravity.
This type of chemical reaction, a hypergolic chemical reaction, was the...
You understand that the reaction in a vacuum is probably going to look different than the reaction here on Earth, right? They're doing it to show, like, hey, this same mixture can work here, and they're just trying to recreate it. but it might look different.
Rocket fuel used
Because we're not in a vacuum on Earth.
in the Apollo program. So as you can see, one of our workshop technicians many years ago has made here at the University of Nottingham's own Apollo spacecraft. And essentially there's a rocket motor and a jet. And opening the switch.
Wait, which one is this? Are they trying to use the fuel that launched the rocket initially, or the one that made the lunar lander go up? Because the flame when the Apollo mission started was not invisible, right? So are they trying to recreate the initial launch, or are they doing the lunar lander ascent back up to the module that they have to reconnect with and then get back to Earth? Because this looks more like the initial first stages of the rocket when it's trying to get out of the Earth's atmosphere, which is a different process than the one they used when the lander went back up to the module and met with it, right? Those are different kinds of reactions. Because they didn't make this look like a lunar like, they didn't make this look like the lander. They made this look like the rocket when it first took off, which makes me think this is just like the chemical reaction that was done in the initial takeoff, which is different. So I think you completely misunderstood this experiment.
Do I really have to point out the obvious here?
I would imagine if it is the one that's on the lander, it has to do with the atmosphere, right?
Does anyone else see the problem?
Me.
Thank you, Simon Dan.
Oh, good.
You finally got an answer right. But I'm sure you're about to claim that the School of Chemistry at the University of Nottingham must have got NASA's method wrong. Well, fortunately, here's another professor.
It's burning the prop. That's why you think? Maybe.
In chemistry.
So we call
a hypergolic fuel can also cause the air to burn, producing flames, which would make sense considering we have an atmosphere on Earth and we don't have one on the moon. So on the moon, it would remain invisible because it's not burning any of the surrounding oxygen or any of the stuff in the atmosphere, whereas here on Earth, it is.
Call it dinitrogen tetroxide. Now we come to the part where we're actually going to put in the fuel. Dimethylhydrazine, which is actually one of the key components of a mixture called Aerozine 50, which NASA have used for a very long time to power some of their rockets. Because it gets very hot, it glows so brightly and produces a big brown plume. But my God, this is impressive.
Just in case you missed it, let's hear that one more time.
Because it gets very hot, it glows so brightly and produces a big brown plume.
This isn't in a vacuum chamber. Put it in a vacuum chamber and see what it does.
Both the lunar module ascent stage and descent stage used a mix of Aerozine 50 and dinitrogen tetroxide, a fuel and an oxidizer that burn on contact with a characteristic clear flame. Clear flame.
And produces a big brown plume.
Clear.
One is on Earth, where there is an atmosphere, and one is in space, where there is not one.
Flame.
Think you need to get your eyes fixed or glasses because you're lying through your teeth.
How well does the Apollo footage match actual experimentation?
God, they need to redo that experiment in a vacuum chamber to shut these fuckers up. The plume is also not a flame, it's a reaction product. Oh.
Yes, there should have been a huge flame and obvious light source from the nozzle.
No?
No, there shouldn't.
Who thinks Simon Dan is lying to you?
Me.
Thank you, Simon Dan. For the next argument, I'm just going to play Simon Dan's video. It's that bad. You can clearly see the use of 1960s movie artificial backdrops here. It's obvious.
Is it?
The backdrop lines are visible throughout all the missions.
Are they?
In this case, you can even see the carpet used to blend in with the backdrop.
No! No! You think this makes you look good and Simon Dan look bad?
No reasonable person can deny that these are movie backdrops.
They're not!
This was not filmed on the moon.
Poor exhibit. It seems like you're just saying it's a backdrop without any evidence.
Don't worry, Skrull. Now there are plenty of tards out there living really kick-ass lives.
I can't help the willfully blind, but I think any breed...
Do you understand how you can have a surface and then once behind the surface there's an increase in elevation? It can appear that there's like a horizon that's sort of a cutoff point. It's because there's a hill there.
Reasonable, decent...
It's a hill that ducks down and then goes up, but because you're standing over here, you only see a sudden cutoff. You don't see the valley there.
Human being can see that this is a poor 1960s movie backdrop, and no goofy propaganda sellout is going to change that fact.
It's not. Dude, again, what's happening here is you have a little bit of an up, and then a valley, and then it's starting to go up again, and because you can't see through the surface, it's not translucent, all you see is what looks like a drop-off because you're seeing the peak of that elevation disguise the valley part because you can't see it. Do you understand how perspective works? Jesus Christ, these people are idiots. Enough globe busters. Let's do Nathan Thompson. Could you link me a video? Well, considering we already got a bingo winner, I guess it probably wouldn't be a problem.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see just how evil NASA is. First, we're going to look at Earth's orbital speed around the sun. How fast does Earth move around the sun? 66,000.
I dare discuss perspective with that painting on the wall. That one. That's a fucking piece of art. How dare you? That's perfect. Hold on, let me go get this painting in case people haven't seen it. So this was something that we picked up at a thrift store near us. I think like a Salvation Army or something. And it looks like it was someone's like art project in either high school or middle school or something. I have no idea. Look at this beauty. We have an amazing showcase in perspective in which we have this arch, which, hey, you know, I'll give him this. You can see, like, the interior of the arch and the shadow. Like, hey, I couldn't do that. Great job. But then you have this clock, which the clock is, like, wrapped around, but it doesn't look like it is. It kind of just looks like it's floating in this section right here. And then we have this lady who's wrapped in a blanket, burrito style, and she's holding a baby. And then over here, we have what I imagine to be Christian imagery of a cross. This is a postmodern masterpiece. And frankly, I will accept any bids above $1 million. You will make money on this investment, I am telling you. Okay? You bid $2 billion, sold. Come and pick up your painting with your check, Jeff Bezos. Found Jeff Bezos' account.
600 miles per hour, speed of the globe's orbit. Next, curvature in 1 mile squared? According to Pythagorean theorem, 0.67 feet of drop, 8 inches.
Tentacled Todd with 300 bits for fantastic burrito baby thrift store art. Thank you.
Is converted to feet is 0.66667 feet.
Speed of the globe's orbit. Let's see. We're just gonna fact check these to make sure that they're... See, this says it's 67,000 miles per hour. That's not 666, is it? Where did the video go? There it is. 66.6 miles per hour. Speed of the globe's orbit. This says 67,000 miles per hour, so that's inaccurate. Curvature in 1 mile squared. Curvature per mile squared. This number per square mile. I don't do the maths. Anyway, axial tilt 66.6. Axial tilt degree. Today, the Earth's axial tilt is tilted at 23.5 degrees from the plane of its orbit around the Sun, but this tilt changes during a cycle that averages about 40,000 years. The tilt of the axis varies between 22.1 and 24.5 degrees. So I don't know where he's getting the 66 whatever degree thing. Thank you to Jet Set Fret for following.
Curvature in 1 mile squared. Check. Earth's axial tilt, 23.4, but...
This isn't the number I want it to be. What math can I do to make it the number I want it to be?
When you take 23.4 and subtract it from 90...
Why 90? Why?
A right angle.
Wait, why a right angle? Why are you arbitrarily deciding that a right angle is what you need to subtract from this number?
You get, believe it or not, 66.6 again. Axial tilt confirmed.
No, it's not though. But it's not. You just arbitrarily decided I'll subtract this number from 90 because right angles... Well, why? Why is a right angle applicable to this number specifically? Why are you subtracting it from 90?
Now let's take a look at the Antarctic and Arctic circles. Oh, would you look at that? 66.6 degrees north and 66.6 degrees south.
I'm sorry that the world scares you because certain numbers are a scary number.
Must just be a coincidence, huh?
Yes.
The current commander of the International Space Station about to break a big record tonight. Here's ABC's Gio Benitez.
They call it the Peggy factor, Mission Control's code word for the way superstar astronaut Peggy Whitson always gets the job done.
I love it up here.
Tonight, Commander Whitson making history with her record for any American. By the time she lands in September, her tally will be 666 days in space. Will be 600...
Squid with 100 bits. Earth is hell confirmed. If all that were true, God would have coded Satan's number throughout creation. Why, though? True.
66 days in space.
Well, no, Jake. These aren't the real measurements. This is what the NASA shills are lying about. The real numbers are probably holy numbers or something, whatever that would be.
Will be 666 days in space, with more spacewalks, currently 8, than any other female astronaut.
Now let's go over the diameter of the moon. This is a new one. I actually didn't know. It's 2,160 miles, but you take 6 times 6 times 6. There you go.
Wait, no. That's not 6 times 6 times 6. You did 6 times 6 times 60. 60 is not the number 6, Nathan. there's a 0 after the 6, which makes it a completely different number. The number of the beast is not 6660, it's 666. And the 0 isn't doing nothing to the number. It's not like you typed in 6 times 6 times 6.0. 60 is not 6! 60 isn't 6!
2160. The surface temperature of Uranus. Oh, there you go, negative 216.
Okay.
Which is 6 times 6 times 6. 260.
Okay, but that means that the number you said before was not correct, because this is what 6 times 6 times 6 equals. The one you did earlier was 6 times 6 times 60, which isn't the same thing. You don't get to fudge that number. Like, why wouldn't they have been like, oh boy, we better make whatever the measurement was before. I don't even remember. It doesn't matter. Like, why would they be like, you know, we've done 6 times 6 times 6 a lot. I think we're getting too obvious. Let's throw one of the 60s out and make it a 60 for some reason.
16. Oh, you thought we were done. Let's do Pluto's orbital velocity. Scroll down here. Oh, there we go.
It's 4.666 kilometers per second. Average, and that's average orbital speed, by the way. Its max orbital speed is 6.112, and its minimum is 3.676. So that's an average of the high and the low. That's not even like the number it is. It's just an average of these numbers.
666.
But what about the 4? There's a 4 in front of that. And the 4 means more than the 0.666 because the 4 is like a main number, not a decimal, right? So why would they do that?
The speed of sound in knots. Speed of sound? Oh, well, you look at that. 666 knots.
Okay. Why are you measuring the speed of sound via knots, which are used for nautical measurements? Also, you can test the speed of sound. Like, that's not a conspiracy. Are you saying that the speed of sound is a conspiracy? Because, like, when planes hit Mach 1 or anything hits Mach 1, it makes a sonic boom, which means that they've surpassed the speed of sound. So we know what the speed of sound is. People have traveled faster than it.
The Earth's circumference in nautical miles? Oh, 21,600.
That's not 666. That's a 21,600. There's 1 6 in that. And it's like in the middle of the number.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
What do you mean, there you go? No, explain what you mean.
Again. 600 times 6 times 6.
Okay, 600 is not a 6, Nathan. Because a number has 6 in it doesn't make the number 6. You see these 2 zeros, Nathan? You fucking idiot. And, Nathan frustrates me like no other. You see these 2 zeros, Nathan? If there was 1 0, this number would be 60. And there's 2. So that makes the number 600 because it has a 0 in the tens place and a 0 in the hundreds place. I'm glad we could go over this kindergarten level math with you. That is not the number 6. This is the number 6, and this is the number 6, but this is the number 600. Okay, glad we could go over that.
Another coincidence, 21,600. How far is Mars from the sun? Oh, well, 1.
AU. AU is a measurement. AU as a unit of measurement. Astronomical unit. Astronomical unit is a unit of length, roughly the distance from Earth to the sun, and equal to about 150 million kilometers. So 1.66 AU. Again, this number isn't just 0.66 or 666, it's 1.666, which is a different number.
666 astronomical units. Now let's look at Ceres' synodic period. And just as you expected, 666.
That's 466.6. Again, you understand that when there's a number and there are other numbers around that number, it means that those numbers are part of a larger number. That's how numbers work.
Again, the devil's in the details, ladies and gentlemen. Saturn's orbital distance in kilometers. Let's take a look at the numbers.
Okay, but here's the thing. Do you see how many different numbers are in this? So you looked at these numbers, of which there are dozens just in this Wikipedia article, and you scoured, and you were like, where's a 666? Where's a 666? There's a 666. You're literally doing, like, the Beautiful Mind thing. Have you seen the movie A Beautiful Mind, where he's looking at, like, thousands of numbers and some start lighting up? You're doing that. It's a selection bias. You're looking at tons and tons of numbers and looking for 6 repeated 3 times. Like, that's a selection bias. That's not proof of anything, because of all these numbers, if one of them is 666 or has 666 in them, most of them still don't. Why isn't every astronomical measurement 666 if this was all a conspiracy? Some of them are going to be sometimes, because again, 666 are numbers that you could have in measurements. But that's going to happen, Nathan. There's a lot of stuff floating around in the universe that we measure. Sometimes their measurement or radius or speed or whatever is going to have 3 6s in it.
Oh. 1,426,666,000.
Yeah. That's in a billions, though. That's in there, right? The number isn't just 666. It's 1, 4, whatever, 666, whatever. You scoured the article and Control F'd 666. I don't know. Let's look at, I don't know, any Wikipedia article on a mathematical principle. Wikipedia. Let me, space measurements. Ah, boy. I gotta find something with a bunch of numbers. Wikipedia. I'll just say Earth. No. What's a good article you think I should Control F 666 in? Here we have one. 366.73 days. That's only one number off of 666 being right in the middle of it. Or time travel. Stars. Star distances. Wikipedia. Control F. 6. 6. 6? No? Okay. Let's see. 2.66. And then 2 times 3, which is the number of digits, and 2.66 is 666. Let's see. We have a 66 there. We have a 1.668, and if you remove 1 from 8, it becomes 7, which is very close to 6. Or if you add the 1 to the 5 at the beginning of this, then it becomes a 6, and it's 666. Let's see, we have... Oh, that's the same one. We have 8.66. And if you remove the number of digits that are 6 in this number, which are 2, then you get 666. You see, you could do this all day, right? You could just make shit up and just, like, point out numbers and arbitrarily decide to add or remove or times numbers, and you can come up with any number, right? Random article? Let me see if I can go to a Wikipedia article. Wikipedia. Random article. Where's the random article button? Random article. Control F. I don't know if this will work, because this is not necessarily going to have anything to do with math. Yeah, there aren't even 2 digits of 6. Let me see how many pages I can go through before I get something like this. Control F. 6, 6. Nope, not in this one. Random article. Control F. 6, 6. Nope. Random article. I need a longer article, though. Come on. These are all short and just linked to a bunch of other shit. Control F. 6, 6. God damn it. You gotta find an article with a lot of numbers like space articles tend to. Which is why it's difficult, because space articles are gonna tend to have more numbers, because it's gonna have to do with, like, the rotational periods and stuff. Measurements. Let me see if I can just find a Wikipedia. Wikipedia. Okay. I think I've made my point in terms of if you look at an article with a bunch of numbers, whether it be space-related or otherwise, although the examples I gave were space-related, you can manipulate the numbers into being 666. Yeah, that is Anton LaVey. These aren't even the same, though, right? His thumb is, like, straight, and this one's kind of in. It's more like the, like, rock on sign. This is my favorite one, where they're like, the NASA logo looks like it's got a snake tongue. Not really. I mean, let's look at a snake tongue. Like, for one thing, the NASA logo tongue, like, it's uneven on either side, right? When snakes have a forked tongue, for one thing, it's going to come out more like a Y, like this. They go outwards. They don't, like, come together like this. And secondly, they're even on both sides, right? The NASA logo has, like, a swoosh, and this one's bigger than this one. And I think it's pretty obvious to anyone with half a brain that if you're looking at the NASA logo and you're like, what is this red swoosh? It's clearly evocative of, like, a rocket going forward, going out into space. It's like a swoosh, you know? It's like a Nike swoosh. It's like, just do it. It evokes motion and moving forward and stuff like that. It's not a snake tongue. Again, these do not look the same. Snake tongues do this. They don't come together like this. And again, uneven anyway. All circles are serpents. Nathan, it's an orbit. It's something orbiting it. It's an orbit? Do you understand what an orbit is? That's a stretch even for him. No. They're saying like, hey, we're okay. You did a good job. Great job.
Bible clearly states.
It's like he's looking through a telescope. Guys, do you get it? Because he used it to the moon. God.
In Psalm 2, the kings of the earth have taken up arms against the Lord and his anointed, saying, let us break their...
Hold on, we got an article that's NASA for kids, and it's the symbols of NASA. Symbols of NASA. From the wing of the space shuttle to the top of the NASA homepage, the agency's official insignia is probably its best-known symbol. The round red, white, and blue insignia, nicknamed the Meatball, was designed by employee James Motorelli in 1959, NASA's second year. The design incorporated references to different aspects of the mission of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. The round shape of the insignia represents a planet, the stars represent space, the red V-shape wing represents aeronautics, the circular orbit around the agency's name represents space travel. After it was introduced, the Meatball was the most common symbol of NASA for 16 years, but in 1975, NASA decided to create a more modern logo. The logo, which consisted of the word NASA in a unique type style, was nicknamed the Worm. That logo was retired in '92, and the classic Meatball insignia has been the most common agency symbol since. In addition to the insignia, NASA has another official symbol. If the Meatball is the everyday face of NASA, the NASA seal is the dressed-up version. The NASA administrator uses the seal for formal purposes, such as award presentations and other ceremonies. Like the Meatball insignia, the seal also includes planet, stars, orbit, and vector elements. NASA also uses symbols for specific projects within the agency. Each space shuttle crew designs a patch that represents what they will do during the mission. Some robotic probes sent to explore space have had mission patches. The agency also creates symbols for major events like the NASA 60th anniversary in 2018, created by NASA graphic artist Matthew Skynes. The logo depicts how NASA is building on its historic past to soar towards the challenging and inspiring future. So this is like the more formal one, and then, you know, these are some different stuff. So there are reasons for these, Nathan. You could have Googled it. Thank you, Skenos2 for following, and Dower Dino for following. Welcome to the stream.
Their chains and cast them asunder. And God, who sits in heaven, laughs and says he will...
Have I discussed the Save Our Children conspiracies? No, I'm not familiar. We're wrapping up soon, but if you have a link, I can check it out next week, whatever the heck it is.
Hold them in derision.
It's a peace symbol, and then, like, a symbol that's like, okay, all things are good, right? Like, what? Yes, it's saying I'm good. It's O. You see the O? It's hilarious to me that these people were, like, drawing a 6 on this, when it's like, it's an O, and then a K. They're okay. Oh my god. Yeah, it's like a symbol that's like radical. Radical, dude. Woo. Have you not seen like the, I don't know, rock on hand sign? This is the rock on hand sign. It's the rock and roll salute. This is like a thing people do. Here's Gene Simmons, the headliner for Kiss, if you're aware of Kiss, kind of doing it. Here he is doing a better job at doing it. Like, do you think that he's in on the NASA conspiracy? What about this guy? Right? What about, like, other rock people doing it? Are all rock stars in on the satanic conspiracy? He's literally pointing with his fingers. That's a thing people do. Again, they're about to get launched into space. They're like, fuck yeah, rock on, dude. I'm about to get blasted into motherfucking space. He can make whatever hand symbols he wants. He's going into space. This one is hilarious to me because, okay, you see the shirt he's wearing? The Longhorns, Texas football. Longhorns hand symbol. He's literally wearing the shirt. This is a hand symbol that the Texas, like, football team and their other teams use. Hook 'em horns. It's a thing they do. He's literally wearing the shirt in the thing. And you couldn't take 5 seconds to see if this was a fucking thing? You absolute moron. I only know this, by the way, because my aunt was a swimmer, and she swam for Texas. She went to school there and was on the swim team. Oh, God. He's doing Spider-Man hands, 'cause he's dressed as Spider-Man! Do you not know about Spider-Man? He does, and he shoots webs. It makes that sound, too. He's Spider-Man. He's like this guy dressed like Wolverine. He's like this, because he's like Wolverine. His claws are gonna come out. Can I just point out that I love that they knew they were gonna be on the space station in October, and they're like, boy, we only get so much weight to put in my bag as I go to the International Space Station. What should we put in here? Fuck it. Spider-Man mask. Wolverine mask. Minions shirt. He's like demonstrating something. I don't know what he's talking about, but he's clearly gesticulating. That's a thing people do. Thank you to Rexexy for following. Welcome to the stream. They're dancing. Yeah. No. Wait, what about this one? You missed one. There's also a little loop here, right? So that's not 666. That's 6666. That's 4 sixes. That's fine. You're good. Don't worry about it. Like, you missed one. And also the D, you could argue, is like a 6 but flipped. So it's fine. It's actually 66666, which is like not satanic. I'm glad I could clear that up for you. Yeah, it's like an animation of someone holding onto a rocket. What about it? Yeah, it's like a rock-on symbol. Like, people about to do some crazy shit will do that. They'll be like, woo! Welcome to Jackass. I'm Johnny Knoxville. I'm about to kick my friend in the balls or whatever. You know, people do this shit.
The masses have been duped on such a grand scale, ladies and gentlemen. And if someone believes in a creation that does not exist,
Zuminiscule, thank you for following.
That does not exist. So it is essential to have an accurate understanding of God's creation. God did not make a moving spherical earth.
I agree with you on that one, but probably not for the reasons that you do. The earth is a sphere, Nathan. If you want to be religious, that's fantastic. I'm happy for you. But, yeah, we live on a spinning oblate spheroid. Here's some pictures of it. Pictures of Earth from space. I put a lot of A's in that for no reason. You can see pictures and videos from space all the time. You can see it, right? And I know you think they're photoshopped, and they might be photoshopped in the sense that they're composite images, but, like, they're actual images from space, Nathan. You can see, like, let's see. Live stream of Earth from space. It's the International Space Station usually has this, but sometimes it's down. Let's see if it's on right now. There it is. There's the Earth. We can even go back and watch stuff from earlier in the stream. Boy, sure looks like a curve to me. You see how it's higher in the center than over here? And you see how it's moving? That sure is Earth.
Any god who creates a spherical moving Earth is a different god from the God of the Bible. End of story.
And then he does the Matrix thing. Brilliant. Okay, let me see if I can do like one more video, and then we'll probably get going, because I know Jake wants to stream, and I'm kind of tired and hungry. So let me see if we can do an Owen Benjamin one. Jake just started. Okay. Let's do a quick Jan Shamanic, and then we'll raid over to Jake.
What's up, all you beautiful people?
So Jan Shamanic is like an alt health guru type guy who tries to tell people, you know, do all this natural stuff and it'll keep you from getting cancer. And also he likes to drink the pee-pee. Fun fact, he likes to drink the pee-pee.
Now, this video is about food alchemy, Orion's belt, the mastermind, and snake oil. And Kundalini, basically. Oh, and why people... I've said that already. Fuck up themselves because they stuck up in a certain diet. Because people can't remember that diet is deity. You're the God created for. And if you just appreciate yourself, it's very easy that you hear
There's nothing
yourself.
Funny about the tools of
Because
capitalism.
we
Teddy
are all
Todd,
the same. We are
300
all
bits, thank you.
Of the Kundalini, of the Ouroboros, the snake.
Oh no,
oil,
he's gonna
sounds
drink
good.
the pee-pee!
This is why it's not called urine therapy, because it becomes from a cup, which is a U, to an O, which is completed. So you have free man, sun, airy. So you become a free man because you use sun and air and the snake oil, which is flowing through all of us, Kundalini energy, imagination, which is Oren.
Ah, no.
Now, this gets me to the point what food alchemy is, and I've said that already. There was some magic happening here. It's like distilled waters.
Let's look at this. Okay. So we got it looks like a Pac-Man at the top eating the outside thing. Inner alchemy, diet equals deity, Orin equals nutrition, urine, which I'm pretty sure he spelled wrong. Wait, urine. No, okay. Looked wrong to me for some reason. U-R-I-N, weird. Urine equals food. Now, Jan, I don't know, but I think I may have found a fault in your program. Urine does not equal food. And then we have air, and I can't read that one, probably fire or something, and then earth. Like we're at the beginning of The Last Airbender. And then we have Orin, urine, nutrition, food, and then there's a star that goes fire, water, earth, air, ethernet. Oh, yeah. You know, the elements. Fire, water, earth, air. Ethernet.
Here.
Hey, sometimes Wi-Fi just won't do it, and you need to connect it.
But what's basically it is that you are the star. You're producing, you're distilling down knowledge.
Wait, this looks like you spilled something on it. Did you spill some pee-pee on your chart?
You are the distillery. And you use the elements, which are fire, water, earth, air, and ether.
Well, I mean, traditionally, but like, actual elements are found in the periodic table, right? Fire isn't like an element. It's a chemical process. Burning is a chemical process, right? It's not a thing as much as it is a thing that happens when something is converting from one state to another. And like wind is like wind. It's when there's like differentials in heat from place to another, and then it causes air to try and flow from areas of like warmer to cooler, right? So that movement creates what we call the wind. And Earth is made up of a lot of elements, right? It's like stuff that's in the dirt, you know? I forget what the other one was, and then you got Ethernet. I don't know what the fuck you think Ethernet is. Ethernet cables are what you use to like plug into the internet if you don't have Wi-Fi, but...
So, what is basically happening is that food is just density.
Food is just density? What does that mean? I mean, it has density, because density is a property of matter. But what do you mean food is just density? That doesn't mean anything.
Food is just...
It would be like if I said... What would even be an appropriate analogy for this? You know, density... What if I just said, like, food is just weight? Food is just... Food is just color. Food is just, like... These are things that you can measure about the food, but that doesn't mean that's all the food is.
Doesn't matter what it is, you know? I was getting really crazy tonight.
You don't say.
I was having, like, in the mixer... I was throwing in some sweets in there, some oats, some whatever. But why I do it? Because it becomes a liquid, and your body flows better. Because you have tubes in your body, and you push, everything gets pushed through your tubes.
Your body! It's a series of tubes! Oh shit. What just fell and got just broken? It sounded like something fell. Oh no. Anyway, your body is a series of tubes. Okay, Jan. When you ingest something, regardless of what it is... What the fuck just fell? I'll figure it out later. When you ingest something, whether it be, you know, pee or actual food that you're gonna get nutrients from, it goes down your esophagus, into your stomach, and then through your stomach where it starts to be digested, and then through your intestines where nutrients are extracted. And then once all the nutrients that it can get out of it are extracted, it moves on to, you know, your colon and is expelled as waste through your body, because it's waste because all the nutrients have been extracted from it. The same thing applies with liquids. Liquids get nutrients extracted from them, and then the waste product gets sent to your bladder where it is excreted as urine. So when you drink pee, you're basically drinking like the waste product that your body couldn't get anything out of. You're not getting nutrients from your pee. But either way, in either case, when you put something in your body, it isn't directly being injected into your veins, which I assume is what you mean by tubes, because you're pointing this way. That's a process that happens when, you know, the nutrients and liquids get like, sent to the rest of your body to help it function. But by the time it's done that, the stuff has already been extracted from it. That's what your stomach and your mouth is for. You masticate food to help digest it, which is the process of chewing. And then it goes down to your stomach, where your stomach acid and other stuff can eat away at it to make it easier to digest. At which point it gets sent to, you know, the small and large intestine, and they suck the nutrients out of the food. And then the nutrients and liquid and everything are taken from that and distributed throughout your body. So by the time they get into your veins, the nutrients, the liquidity, all that stuff, it's already, like, been liquefied. You liquefying your food first isn't really making a difference. It's not like if you eat mostly solids, which most people do, it's not like your blood's gonna be chunky, right? That's not how it works.
So your body is distilling knowledge down. It's all just about mind. And this gets me also into transmuting, which would be the next level in alchemy. So you would transmute, for example, hate into love.
What?
So you can transmute different energies into another thing. Because you feel the L's better, the elements, which are the angels of mind. Elements means angels of mind. We are all...
Let me see what the etymology of elements is. Elements. Etymology. God, I always spell etymology wrong. Element, from the Latin elementum, meaning principle or rudiment, and the Greek stoikoin, which is step, component, part. So no, that's not what the word element comes from.
Extensions of the same thing. We are all the same. We are all a snake, which is connected.
Wait, we're snakes now?
We are all in the grid. We are all in the Ethernet. In the Aether. So can you see it or can you not see it? You will see it, and you will become better intuitively when you start to appreciate your snake oil.
Your peas, your oil, your pee-pees, your snake oil, and you're a snake? Bold to call your medicine snake oil.
Which is Shivambu. Urine therapy. Better. Orion's belt. Orion. Because we are star seeds. This is where we come from.
This guy looks like he needs to have a shampoo. Looks like he hasn't shampooed his hair. Even just like some dry shampoo. Very oily. In fairness, he probably washes his hair with pee. So that might be what's doing it.
The stars.
Washes his hair with pee, I guess I should say.
So in these humble words, it doesn't matter what you eat. You can just appreciate your diet. But make sure that you appreciate Orion's belt. So you will see. All right. 5 by 5. 5 stars. 5 elements. Orion.
Does this count as reptilians? No.
Is that true?
That's not the same thing as reptilians. Okay. Well, I guess that is what it is. So thank you everyone for coming to the stream. Hold on. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Oops. YouTube. There's a link in the chat. It's where I put all my past streams and all my stream highlights. So check it out. We're going to raid Jake. Oops. Raid actual Jake. There we go. So thanks everyone for coming to the stream. Join me tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe Chud Watch. We'll figure it out. Anyway, thanks for coming to the stream. I really appreciate it. See you guys later.